You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Welcome to Doak-Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee for one of the most intriguing matchups of Week 1 as perennial giant killer Boise State takes on Florida State, looking to rebound from its worst season in 4 decades. Now, this game was originally scheduled for a night game in Jacksonville on ESPN, but moved 2.5 hours west because of Hurricane Dorian. A state of emergency declared in Florida, so folks in Jacksonville are evacuating. Some are stocking up on what's left of food and water in preparation for the storm. Now, here in Tallahassee, right now, the weather's fine. It's hot, feels like 95 degrees. We'll be triple digits here shortly. No threat of rain as of now. And hi, everybody. Welcome to the booth. Dave Pasch alongside Greg McElroy and Tom Luganville. It's that time of the year. Best time of the year. College football is back, and we got a good one to kick things off. A lot of people curious about Florida State around the country. And in talking with Seminole players and coaches, Greg, yesterday, they feel like last year's in the past.
Yeah.
They are back to being Florida State.
Yeah, it's been a newfound commitment to really the focus on the details. But I think a big reason for the optimism around this program here in 2019 is the addition of new offensive coordinator Kendall Briles. He comes from Houston, previously with the Baylor Bears many years ago, but he's a guy that has scored points everywhere he's going. He's going to simplify the offense. He's going to up the tempo. Expect a lot of productivity in that side of the football here this season.
They're playing against a very good opponent as Chief Osceola's out on the field. Here come the Broncos. 10-3 record a year ago, but they have a true freshman quarterback, Tom, and Hank Bachmeier. And instead of playing in a neutral site, yeah, there would be a lot of Knoll fans there. You got a true road game to start your career.
Yeah, welcome to college football, Hank, no doubt about it. But I'll tell you, the reason he won this job, guys, is he earned the trust of his teammates and of the coaches. And it's not all about physical ability. It's about minimizing mistakes and executing the offense. And he reminds me of a bigger, stronger-armed version of former Washington quarterback Jake Browning. And he may need to play like it here today if Boise State hopes to go home with a win.
Boise State 1-4 in its last 5 games against Power 5 teams. We'll see if they can pull this one out here in Tallahassee. Kickoff is next, the final Saturday. Welcome back to Tallahassee with the game moved from Jacksonville. All of the tickets purchased for the game that was going to be in the Jaguar Stadium have been reimbursed. It is general admission. Tickets were about $10 online, and it's a pretty good turnout considering they had to move this thing last minute to Tallahassee. All the Boise State fans that flew into Jacksonville on Thursday rented cars, buses, and drove 2.5 hours west. Their practice in Jacksonville the other day was canceled because of lightning. As Chief Osceola gets them started here in Tallahassee. Boise State won the toss, elected to receive. Brian Harsin has done an excellent job. Former Boise quarterback, longtime assistant, now in his 6th year as the head coach. He's got 2 Mountain West championships, 4 10-win seasons, including a year ago. A lot of heat on Florida State head coach Willie Taggart after a 5-7 year in 2018. But in fairness, Jimbo Fisher, before he left for Texas A&M, was only 7-6 in his last year. We'll see if Taggart can turn things around. Greg already talked about the change. The offensive coordinator, they've also made some other staff changes. We'll see if it pays off in 2019. Killian Butler is deep for Boise, along with John Hightower. Logan Tyler will kick it away. Toe will soon meet leather. And 2019 will be underway for these two schools. It will come out to the 25 for the Broncos. As we introduce you and the college football world to the highest recruited quarterback in school history. Hank Bachmeier from Murrieta, California, where he set all kinds of records. 156 career touchdown passes. He was in the 2019 ESPN 300. And he takes over for a 4-year starter in Brett Rippon, who was the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year and the all-time leading passer in the conference. And they're going to run it straight ahead, and Robert Mahone with a huge gain of 17 yards to start the game. As you look at Hank Bachmeier's mom, April. Now, Hank's father, Mike, unable to make the trip. First game he's missed since Hank was 6 years old. Mike underwent brain surgery 2 weeks ago, and we certainly send our best to him. Here's a jet sweep to Hightower. Nice move as he's out to the 48-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play. Marvin Wilson on the tackle.
And Hank Bachmeier, so productive throughout his high school career. He's a cerebral player. Had offers all over the country, but looked at Boise State's offense. Felt like it fit him. And he becomes the first true freshman quarterback to start the season opener for Boise since they joined the FBS.
Here's play action. Bachmeier had to get rid of it with pressure, and it's incomplete. He was trying to hit John Bates, and it was Levante Taylor, a safety, who was in the backfield, bringing up 3rd down and 3.
Well, this might be an area, Greg, where you test a young freshman. Does a really nice job of contained by Levante Taylor coming off the edge or off of the naked, but smart of Hank Bachmeier not to force the football into coverage.
Well, let's see if Boise offensively tries to get the ball out of Bachmeier's hands quickly.
One of the best in the country on 3rd down a year ago. Got a manageable situation here, 3rd and 3. And they have all 5 of their starting offensive linemen back, one of 3 schools in the country. Bachmeier to his left, and it is caught for a first down by C.T. Thomas. He's out of bounds inside the 45-yard line.
Recognizing pressure, and they just try to get Bachmeier out. They're going to run a little quick out route. And it was a good job by Bachmeier holding up his wide receiver just a touch, because you could see the crashing corner. Asante Samuel Jr. almost made the play. Accurate throw from the freshman.
And they're going to run it again here to Andrew Van Buren. So 2 runs straight ahead, right at the teeth of the Florida State defense. And both have gone for first downs.
We're going to see 2 running backs and maybe 3 for Boise State, which is a huge changeup. They don't often go running back by committee. They usually have a bell cow type of approach. But both Van Buren and Mahone have impressed a lot, as well as the freshman, George Halani, who we'll see later on.
And to your point, 10 straight years with a 1,000-yard rusher. Van Buren fumbled the ball. It's scooped up at the 40-yard line by Robinson, and he's into Boise State territory. Robinson hacked it out and recovered it.
What a textbook hit right here. Right on the football. Nasruddin. You see that left shoulder engage and that ball pop out.
Right into the arms of Robinson.
Great play by Robinson, too, by catching it, securing it, and creating some positive yardage for himself. Huge play by the Florida State defense early on.
And boy, did they need it, guys.
Yeah, they were getting gashed. So, sophomore quarterback James Blackman, redshirted a year ago, but a starter 2 years ago, and they handed off to Cam Akers on first down. He's planted after a 2-yard gain. 24 career touchdown passes for Blackman, coming out of Glade Central High School in South Bay, Florida. It's his 14th career start. Most of those, again, coming as a true freshman. Did start 1 game last year, threw for over 400 yards against NC State. They're trying to set up a screen here, and he overthrew Akers, the intended receiver. We all had a chance to meet with James Blackman yesterday. He's a very impressive kid. It was a tight race between him and Wisconsin transfer Alex Hornibrook, but the coaches said the leadership of Blackman and how the players feel about him is what won him the job. Here he is on 3rd down and 8. Dumps it off. Breaking a tackle is Marshall. Out of bounds, close to the line to gain. He stepped out. Looks like he'll be short. At the 38-yard line, the Noles are over the ball. They're ready to go for it on 4th down.
Great effort by Matthews, trying to stretch it.
And they hand it off to Akers. First down and more. Inside the 20-yard line. A house call for Akers. Touchdown, Noles. They bash him on 4th and 1. And then Akers breaks free for his 14th career touchdown run. Cam Akers, who broke the freshman rushing record at Florida State 2 years ago, lost a little confidence last year when the Noles only averaged 2.8 yards a carry. They had a lot of struggles up front. But maybe that'll regain some confidence for the very talented junior from Clinton, Mississippi, Cam Akers. Aguayo makes it 7-0 FSU.
An early turnover forced by the Florida State defense leads to Cam Akers right up the middle on 4th and short. One missed tackle and he's out the gate. Not the most graceful celebration, but he has the Seminoles up early here in Tallahassee.
Boise State trying to replace 1,400-yard rusher Alexander Madison, and Andrew Van Buren fumbles. Only 3 fumble recoveries last year for Florida State. They get one here early on and then pay it off with Cam Akers' touchdown run of 38 yards on 4th down to get the Noles on the board first. Hightower and Butler deep again. Tyler will kick it deep for FSU. Another touchback.
Let's go back to the touchdown. Pretty simple 4th and short play. You're going to see McKitty lead up, and Akers going to follow him behind, but that leaves Ezekiel Noah unblocked. And he just misses the tackle, and he was the last line of defense because of how close to the line of scrimmage the Broncos were. Excellent job by Akers making the guy miss, then accelerating all the way to the end zone. But that's a play on 4th and short that Ezekiel Noah has to make in a critical down and distance.
Hey, Greg, I'll tell you, when he did and that run took off, this place erupted. They haven't had a lot to cheer about in the last 8 months.
There's also a penalty on Boise State. But
first
declined.
Down.
So 1st down for the Broncos. We welcome those that are watching South Alabama, Nebraska to this game here in Tallahassee. Game was supposed to be tonight on ESPN in Jacksonville, but moved because of Hurricane Dorian. And no rain here in Tallahassee, but hot and humid as they go right back to the ground. Mahone straight ahead to the 31-yard line. We mentioned there's a lot of humidity. Boise State knew it was going to be hot and humid, so they made it 106 degrees inside in the bubble in Boise. How did they do that? Well, they sprayed water. They turned the heat up and sprayed water everywhere. But they thought they're going to be playing at night, not in the middle of the day. Another run, and Mahone has the 1st down. Other than the fumble by Van Buren, and even on that play, they did get positive yardage. So you look at the weather difference between where we are and where Boise State what Boise State is used to. First time they've played in the state of Florida. We were in Boise a couple weeks ago for practice. It was absolutely gorgeous.
And that humidity hurts a lot of positions, but I'll explain after the snap why it's actually kind of a good thing for quarterbacks.
True freshman Hank Bachmeier unloads, complete, and it's Hightower getting the first down, close to midfield, tackled by Samuel.
You think humidity, you think uncomfortable, but for whatever reason in a humid environment, the football gets a little stickier, and your hand gets a little stickier, so the ball comes out of your hand really true in a humid environment. So I have a feeling this Boise State team, and Hank Bachmeier especially, might feel pretty good throwing the football in this type of setting.
They keep running between the tackles, and this time Mahone is stood up by Corey Durden after a short game.
Tell you what, Greg, so far I think it's been a very smart game plan to get Hank Bachmeier comfortable. They have established the run early. The throws have been short. They've been able to kind of control the environment for him, get his feet wet, and get him some confidence early on here.
Yeah, and that's what happens when the running game has been really effective. Outside of the fumble and that last play right there, every run has been very, very positive.
Bachmeier has an open man on 2nd down and 8. It's Van Buren. He's wrestled down about a yard short of the line to gain by DeCalen Brooks. So it'll be 3rd down. They're in FSU territory for the 2nd time in the first 5 minutes of the game.
I know it's early. If you wanted to hand it here, you could be thinking 4-down territory possibly at this point of the field too, if you trust your defense enough and you trust your offensive line to get you positive opportunities.
It's about where Florida State was when they went for it. Van Buren cuts it back and is close. Looks like he's got it. Cedric Wood on the stop, but nice cut by Van Buren. Both Van Buren and Mahone had about 3 yards or 3 carries per game a year ago because Alexander Madison was the guy, but they will split carries this year along with George Halani, a true freshman. There's an injured Seminole, and it's a player that they cannot afford to lose. Hamza Nasruddin, one of their best players, injured. Week 2 of the season's unbelievable. There's some great matchups on ABC. At 3:30, you've got the top team in the country, defending national champion Clemson, taking on Texas A&M. And then at 7:30, Saturday Night Football has LSU and Texas. Meanwhile, we have seen something that we've only seen one other time in recent history. Zion Williamson blowing out a shoe for the Duke Blue Devils. That's what Nasruddin did. The sole of the shoe separated from the cleat on that last play.
He's an explosive guy like Zion, though, so it should be really no surprise. Strong, big dude going up there, and the shoe can't handle the heat.
Hopefully the injury to Nasruddin isn't what Zion had to deal with. The injury suffered when that shoe busted, as Mahone gets inside the 40-yard line for a pickup of about 3. And Cyrus Fagan on the tackle. Carlos Becker is the other safety. He's replacing Nasruddin for now.
And this Florida State defense really struggled at times last year. They've adjusted their front, trying to get more playmakers on the field, trying to cause more disruption. Struggled against the run early so far today.
Here's the true freshman Bachmeier, a wide receiver screen, and Shakir makes a man miss. Gets tagged a couple times, but does enough to move the chains to the 32-yard line. It's an 8-yard pickup. Khalil Shakir, who had a knee injury late last year. They think he can do a lot of different things for them offensively.
Look at Boise State cranking up the tempo now a little bit. Florida State on their heels and dragging.
They've been getting gashed. They've given up over 60 yards rushing in this first quarter. Play fake here. Bachmeier throws that one away. He actually had Shakir, but maybe made up his mind to throw it away.
He was looking, just couldn't find anything. Really the first downfield shot we've seen from Boise. They get into plus territory, but it's been a very conservative plan so far. Try to take the pressure off Bachmeier, run it on 1st and 2nd down, and then when you do drop back and throw it, nice underneath throws that are high percentage completions to get the freshman some confidence.
Here's Mahone one-on-one with a stiff arm inside the 25-yard line. And it's another first down on the ground for Boise State.
I like this cut by Mahone. Boom. Right off the cut. Nice stiff arm. North and south. Trying to figure out who that bell cow is going to be. I would imagine by midseason, Boise State will have a guy that will probably carry them the rest of the way of the ground. The competition at running back still ongoing between Mahone and Van Buren.
11th play of the drive. It's going to be Van Buren. Now, you were talking during the break about just how good this offensive line is for Boise State. Only Auburn, Iowa State, and Boise State return all 5 of their starting offensive linemen from a year ago.
If you look at how they played down the stretch, too, particularly when they got John Ojukwu in there on the right side, been so much better, so much more productive in regards to protecting their quarterback and running the football.
Here's Bachmeier on 2nd and 8, going to throw it. Has time down the sideline. Overthrown. Incomplete. John Bates, the intended receiver. Got a linebacker matched up on him, Amari Gaynor.
3rd and 8 in the red zone. You have points. Don't allow your freshman quarterback to make a mistake. If I'm Zach Hill, the offensive coordinator, I'm thinking something quick. Maybe a screen. Get one of these running backs out in space or try to get it to my slot receiver. Perhaps on a little tunnel screen. So I think Florida State's going to try to mix it up and play some man-to-man.
Blitz coming. Bachmeier's leveled, incomplete. Off the fingertips of Hightower. There was pressure in the face of Bachmeier. It is 4th down.
They're going to run a little stunt. You're going to see him loop around. And that's who gets the pressure.
It's Amari Gaynor.
Yeah, Amari Gaynor on a loop. That's a nice pressure, trying to create isolations up front along the offensive line. Then you run an athletic guy up around the middle to get hit on the quarterback.
So now we have a walk-on who earned a scholarship late, Eric Sachs, who transferred from a D3 school, Trinity College. 36-yard try for his first Division I field goal. And it's no problem for him. The senior from Holden, Massachusetts, puts it through. And the Broncos on the board. Boise State on the board thanks to an Eric Sachs field goal, a transfer from Trinity College in Connecticut. And our guys worked so hard, our crew, they went out and shot Trinity College just so we could show you what the atmosphere was like when he was kicking there. I mean, barely anybody in the stands. And then he made the trek several thousand miles with his relatives out of here. Boise walked on and got a scholarship late. Boise struggled in the kicking game last year. They were last in net punting, and they were 12 of 20 on field goals, and they're hoping Sachs can turn it around. Here is a touchback. It'll come out to the 25-yard line. That was a rule that changed last year. You can fair catch in the field of play and come out to the 25. Let's compare the schools. Now, keep in mind here, Boise State isn't a big school, yet look at it compared to the Trinity College Bantams. Enrollment of 2,200.
You think about that stadium capacity, too. That, to me, I mean, you're talking about. And I would imagine, I've never been to Trinity College, but I would imagine 5,500 is, I'm not sure they're getting that every week, but I can assure you at Boise, throughout the Mountain West, and of course, throughout his journeys down here, even in Tallahassee, he's going to see, in some cases, 50,000, 60,000 plus people on a weekly basis.
You played high school football in Texas. How many people you play in front of?
20,000, roughly.
Blackman gets rid of it here, and it's Tamarian Terry, and he's got the first down. Terry, their most dangerous receiver, and he might be gone on a simple play to the perimeter. He takes it the distance. 75-yard touchdown. Tamarian Terry underwent a knee procedure during camp. He was not 100%. He's got the scary Terry mask on. underneath the helmet. His 9th career touchdown catch and his 3rd of 70 yards or longer. And the Noles, midway through the first quarter, put up some points with explosive plays.
This is what Seminole fans have been begging for, this big-time explosive offense. Tamorrion Terry, look, we know he's huge. I mean, he's 6'4", 205, 210. But what I was amazed by going back and watching him, I didn't remember seeing this at any point last year, just how quick he was. For a guy to be that long and that versatile and such a weapon in one-on-one, he's really good after the catch. I mean, look at him wiggle. And then break another tackle here, cutting inside and then turning on the jets to the house. He's so explosive and so good down the field. But he's really a weapon with the ball in his hands as well. And how about James Blackman? How about the start for him? The team certainly feeds off his energy. He has plenty of it right now.
And Greg, how about that block by tight end Trey McKitty, number 6 on the perimeter? That play does not happen without the perimeter block. And you know, what have we seen in week 0 in the early going of college football so far? Poor tackling.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing right now from Boise State on defense.
Trey McKitty might need a little MVP love after the last 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He had the lead block on the run and on the catch and run. So he's doing a good job blocking out there for his teammates.
Well, look, we all said that one of the most interesting thing about Florida State this year was how it would be offensively with Kendall Briles calling the plays. So far, so good. 2 touchdowns in 7 minutes. The touchback, it'll come out to the 25 for Boise State. Well, Florida State, as mentioned, struggled a year ago, 5-7. You go back to the last time they had a losing record. Star Wars started filming. The series is wrapping up here in a few months. We just saw the trailer the other day. Apple was formed by Steve Jobs back in 1976, the last time they had a losing record. Jim Zorn, I think that's Jim Zorn, Seattle's first game. They just traded for Jadeveon Clowney. The Eagles released Hotel California. Some people watching don't even know who the Eagles are. They know the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's it. Present company included. Doesn't know who the Eagles are. Hightower gets leveled on the sideline. Bernardo Green, the true freshman, with the hit.
I think what's been good to see last year when you watched Florida State, there were so many mistakes. I mean, poor tackling, poor substitutions, a lack of energy, a lack of accountability. Now, I know we're early in the season, less than 8 minutes in, but this team looks like they have a certain level of energy that we never saw at any point last season. It's been impressive so far.
Bachmeier hit by Robinson. Ball's on the ground. Is it a fumble? It's picked up by Lars Woodby, and he takes it in for the touchdown. It's all FSU in the first. Janaris Robinson had a fumble recovery earlier, a forced fumble here unless the hand started to go forward. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's got a chance to be overturned.
The rule on the field was a fumble. That plays under further review.
Is the ball knocked out there before the hand starts going forward? We all know the language. It has to be indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to overturn the ruling on the field. Do you see it there?
And remember, it was called, like you said, a touchdown, so they have to have indisputable evidence. It looks like his arm is moving forward, but what I can't tell is, does he have grip of the football as it begins to move forward?
Right.
Now, I think that looks like an incomplete pass to me. Even though the ball moves a little bit, it looks like it's in his grasp as he starts to throw it forward. It is really close, though, closer than I originally thought.
Greg, I think you can definitely see the wrist coming forward, and the ball goes out forward.
But can you say for certain that it's clear and obvious that the hand was going forward? I'm not sure you can. You know, you guys were talking about the energy. We were watching Florida State yesterday and walkthrough, and there were some times we were questioning the energy and the execution. But It was just a walkthrough because they look really sharp here in the first quarter.
Yeah, playing very hard.
Sometimes when the replay takes this long, you see the referee, in this case Mike Defee, starting to write down things. That means they're going to change the call.
I think when you look at that in slow-mo, Greg, it is indisputable.
It looks to me like an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I would call it incomplete. And of course, never bat 1,000 on these, but
we're lucky if we bet 500. I mean.
It looks pretty clear to me that arm was moving forward. The ball was still in his grasp. And if I were the replay official, this would be overturned, ruled incomplete, setting up 3rd and 10 for Boise State.
Yeah, so the Florida State defense is already back on the field. The reason it's taking long is they got to figure out, okay, what's the down and distance? Where should we spot the ball? Obviously, time has to go back on the clock. It's an incomplete pass.
Regardless, though, Greg and Dave, talk about the energy. How about the pressure? Boise State's got 5 returning starters in their offensive line, and right now they are on skates. This is they have cranked it up in the defensive front 7 from a variety of looks for the Seminoles on defense.
After reviewing the play, it's been determined that the quarterback's hands came forward with possession, therefore it's an incomplete pass. It's going to be 3rd down and 10 at the 25-yard line, right hash. Please set the game clock to 7:14, 7:14.
So a bullet dodged for Brian Harsin and true freshman Hank Bachmeier. Bachmeier enrolled in January, participated in spring practice, graduated high school a semester early. Beat out Chase Cord, the guy that played in a few games last year but tore his ACL in practice. Both the quarterback jobs for these two programs came down to the final days of camp. Bachmeier 3rd and long, facing pressure, throws it downfield. It's caught inside the 40-yard line by C.T. Thomas. A big play by Bachmeier in 3rd and 10. They get 35 yards.
What a great job by Bachmeier. Standing in there, knowing that rush is coming. Seeing that safety squeeze just a touch, knowing that he'd have a little more room down the sideline. And that's not easy with big Joshua Kando breathing fire off the right side.
Bachmeier had his helmet come off, Greg, so Chase Cord has to come in for a snap here at quarterback. Bachmeier knew it right away. He ran to the sideline. He knew the rule. Cord in trouble again. Gets away from pressure. And finally goes down. Chased by Leonard Warner. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. You have to sit for one play when you have your helmet come off unless it's via a defensive penalty. Are we back out there?
I like the mindset, though. Hey, backup quarterback in or not, we're taking a shot downfield. Right there, Chase Cord holds onto the ball a little long, and when he's outside the pocket, just throw it away. Live to play 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 12.
Threw 9 passes a year ago. Bachmeier moving around in the pocket. A receiver comes free. It is Hightower. 1st down inside the 30. John Hightower, very good player, big play guy.
This is a great feel by Hightower, too. He runs, he has a corner route called. He sees that the Seminoles are covering that zone, so he sits it down, runs a little curl route, comes back to his quarterback. It's a good read and a great route by an excellent senior wide receiver.
Junior college transfer a year ago. He had 6 plays of 40 yards or more last year with Brett Rippon at the helm. And he's got a good thing going early on with Bachmeier. Mahone back in at running back. Here he is off the left edge, breaking another tackle inside the 20 and spun down near the line to gain. So that's another chunk play on the ground on 1st down for Boise.
Hey, Greg, how about the impact of the overturned fumble return for a touchdown? This stadium has gone silent, and now Boise's taking advantage of it and getting back to what they do best, and that's running the football.
Yeah, and the best way to win on the road, turnovers are big plays. They get turnover taken off the board, they hit a big play. Next thing you know, Boise's got all the momentum.
It's Mahone again, dancing in the hole. And he's got the 1st down to the 16-yard line. A junior from Prosper, Texas. You mentioned this, going a decade with a 1,000-yard rusher. That's the longest active streak in the country. But It's a committee in the backfield this year. And now they got true freshman George Holani in at tailback. His first rep on first down. And he'll get it off the right side. And he's cracked at the 14-yard line by Dontavius Jackson, a 2-yard pickup.
Dontavius Jackson, one of the few really bright spots along the defense last year. I mean, the unquestioned leader of the second level. And he got some significant playing time and should build on it. Kind of the guy, maybe not the most talented guy on that side of the field, but certainly one of the guys that's very, very important in regards to the leadership and accountability of the defensive side.
Saw this as the 28th play for Boise State already here in the first quarter. Bachmeier threw that one away. Again, face pressure. It was Marvin Wilson who was in the face of Bachmeier. 3rd down and 8.
Last time Boise was in this part of the field and they faced a 3rd and long, Florida State lined up in man coverage across the board and brought pressure. This time, let's see how Florida State lines up and if Boise State has a counter, because if they bring pressure again, if I'm Boise, I want to try to get it out in space to one of my playmakers quickly.
Penalty flags are down. There was movement by the Broncos offense.
False start. Offense, number 21. It's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You'll see Van Buren just creep a little forward, wait on the toes. Yep. Trying to get a little freeze count there to see if Florida State would show their hand defensively. Now with a lot of room between them and the yard to gain mark, if I'm Florida State, I want to ramp up the pressure. I want to see what this freshman quarterback is going to do. And one of the areas where I'm looking is right here off this right side. Watch the pressure coming to the quarterback's throwing arm.
Bachmeier in the pocket, arm hit as he lofts it into the end zone, nearly intercepted. Almost picked off by Asante Samuel, but they rushed 5 and they got to him.
You'll see pressure coming right here. I mean, this is pretty obvious because of the way they're lined up in the secondary. Trying to force the ball out of Bachmeier's hands quickly, thinking, hey, I'm Florida State. I have a talent advantage on the perimeter. I'll play man, and I'm going to try to heat up this true freshman quarterback making his first start.
Another 36-yard try here for Eric Sachs. And so far kicking in Tallahassee here at the big stadium, 80,000 seat stadium, not a problem. 14-6 FSU. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville in Tallahassee. Game was scheduled for tonight in Jacksonville, but moved because of Hurricane Dorian. Earlier start time. But Kendall Briles' offense looks good so far in his first year as the offensive coordinator. 5th overall. Baylor, FAU, and then Houston. They also brought offensive line coach Randy Clements over. Very familiar with Briles. Here's Helton. And he stood up at the 24-yard line.
Now this Kendall Briles offense is so simple. It's all based on safety, rotation, and numbers. So you see this safety into the boundary. When that safety departs off the hash and works his way to the middle of the field, the quarterback directs his eyes away from that safety rotation, pitch and catch. And then it's about numbers. How many guys are in the box? There's 2 high safeties, which means there's 5 in the box. I have 5 blockers. Let's run it. It's very simple. It's very quarterback friendly. And it's a big reason why everywhere he's been among the best in college football in regards to yards, points, and touchdowns scored.
So much about tempo. He told us yesterday they're not where he wants to be yet. Guys are still figuring out the speed as we've got a flag here on first down for movement.
False start. Offense, number 73. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
They were 110th last year in total penalties. That's the left tackle, Juwan Williams. Briles replacing Walt Bell, who moved on to be the head coach at UMass. Akers to the 22-yard line, so that's a gain of about 3 on the play. Chase Atada on the takedown.
You know, Greg, they give the quarterback a look to where they spread you so thin horizontally that it forces the defense to either give you the run numbers in the box or commit to coverage.
Here's Blackman on second down with a pump fake. And that comes back to Gavin on the near side at the 35-yard line. It's a first down catch for Keith Gavin with Jalen Walker in coverage. Good job reading things by Blackman.
And that was third in the progression. He was working one to the little slot receiver, and then he looked deep off the pump fake. Worked all the way back to number 3. And a nice job. On 1st and 10, though, they've been pretty good as far as getting some opportunities in the run game. Let's see if they get back to it here. Akers in the backfield.
Here comes a reverse. Helton on the pitch with Blackman out there trying to block, and Helton's got the first down. Takes a shot at the end, but he moves it into Boise State territory, a 14-yard play.
Florida State just has so much speed. And you look at Boise, I mean, that's a disciplined football team that's not generally going to over-pursue, but you have to. You have to be threatened by the speed of Florida State potentially getting to the perimeter. Right here, if I'm Florida State, though, I'm thinking maybe I'll take a shot downfield.
Actually took 3 yards off. They say Helton went out of bounds. They're going to throw it to Akers. It's a double pass. Akers downfield. It's caught. Terry takes it to the 20-yard line, but they're going to say that he did not make the catch. Boy, he had it, but it came out at the end.
Man, what a cool play. It looked like Blackman was checking it down. Cam Akers, the high school quarterback from Mississippi, throws a pretty decent ball, but Terry can't seem to reel it in. Oh my goodness.
The previous play is under further review.
And I think what happened is they saw the same thing we saw from this angle. They saw him catch it on the hop. We actually were shielded because of Terry's body. We couldn't see that the ball actually hit the ground. Or are they going to look to see if it was a penalty also on the pass to Akers, Greg?
That's where I think they're going to look at. Are they going to look at whether or not James Blackman, when throwing it to Akers to the right, was it in fact a backwards pass? Because that was such an unusual design. Usually on a double throw, it's very quick. Hey, you throw a little quick pass out there, a little screen, it's very clear that it's a backwards pass. In this particular case, it looked as though he was just checking it down. And it was pretty flat. It was very close. I thought it looked backwards, but it was very, very close.
Guys, we were here for the Florida game last year, the end of the season, when Florida State got smoked by the Gators. And just looking at the creativity of the offense is night and day. And we're being told this is what they're looking at. So, again, it shouldn't take long because obviously you see it bounce there. But I think because the official was shielded by the player, just like we were up here, that
I understand that catch no catch is that's a hot topic in college football in the NFL, but I mean this just looks pretty clear to me.
Well, not only that, guys, and this is an issue with why something like this takes so long.
Right.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
And I'm with you, Tom, and I think a lot of people have talked about how do we shorten college football? How do we speed things up? It's simple to me. You don't review every play. You just go to the NFL rule where a lot of stuff is reviewed, but it's reviewed by coaches' challenges or booth reviews on scoring plays or turnovers. But when we're reviewing every play like that, and we wasted, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Blackman off of 2 run fakes, and what a move on Taria Wilson. Ducks under the defender and has a first down to the 38, a 15-yard pickup.
This passing game is really in a nice rhythm right now for Blackman. Easy throws underneath, high percentage completions.
Here's Akers again. That looked like a forward pass, and a good job defensively that time to trip him up.
No, Greg, it's interesting you say that with James Blackman. I've charted down here. He's had 1 attempt in completion that's been over 10 yards. 1. And so they're just dinking and dunking and taking what the defense gives them.
Blackman fakes the run again, long throw, and Ontario Wilson on the catch. He had 4 grabs all of last year. He's got 2 already today, and it's another FSU first down. We were here for James Blackman's game 2 years ago against Miami when he had to start as a true freshman, as he gives it to Akers here. Akers inside the 20 and down to the 15, another first down. I'm just going to say, guys, that I know it's been 2 years, but he's an entirely different player, and he told us yesterday when we met with him, he said he just didn't know how seriously you had to take it. I mean, he was an 18-year-old kid being thrust in that position. Swing pass here, Matthews. What a great block. Matthews able to hug the sideline and out of bounds around the 5-yard line, close to the first down.
And they are doing whatever they want offensively. They're hitting them up inside with some of their run opportunities. They're getting some swing passes. They're getting some quick curls, quick hitch routes. Kendall Browse in a nice rhythm as a play caller.
Blackman, what a play. That was terrific. Gabe Neighbors with the touchdown catch. But how about the creativity again by Florida State's offense? They had one of the worst offenses in college football last year. They averaged 22 points per game. Look at how many points they have in the first quarter against a good defense. Well, they told us they felt like last year was just a hiccup. Florida State football is back. Maybe it is. 21-6.
This is just stealing right here offensively. You're going to see him slide out here, but the beauty that opens this up is because of the man coverage that Boise State is in, you're going to get a little rub opportunity, which frees up the intended receiver, and he just waltzes right into the end zone. Nice, easy catch, beautiful design, excellent execution for the Seminoles.
And Greg, a little offensive pointer, right? Rubs are legal and picks are illegal.
Correct.
And you get James Blackman chest bumping his offense coordinator, and he knock him to the ground. I mean, Blackman's tall. Maybe we just couldn't see Kendall in there, but Blackman is every bit of 6'5". He actually looks like a basketball player. He's got that kind of a body, and you see how lanky he is. He actually has put on about 15, 20 pounds. He was 7 of 8, 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. But they look like a completely different offense from a year ago. We just threw out that number again. Think about that. It bears repeating. 22 points per game at Florida State.
Right.
And they got 21 already.
And with an offensive line that throughout the entire season last year and the year before that was a liability. There hasn't been a single moment so far today in which the offensive line hasn't been up to the task.
Here's Hightower electing to take it out. And he gets leveled at the 20-yard line. Brendan Gant with a big hit on special teams.
The numbers speak for themselves. I mean, 102, 108, 112. I mean, it's night and day. And a lot of it, frankly, Briles is great. Does a great job with quarterbacks. But the reality is, if you continue to put a lot of responsibility on your offensive line's shoulders and they're not up to the task, you're going to struggle offensively. And that's exactly what happened last year. So what have they done? They're mixing tempo. They're taking some of the pressure off that group up front. They're putting it in their skill position players' hands where they are still excellent.
Bachmeier on the rollout and fires that one behind Butler, the intended receiver. They got pressure again on Bachmeier. It was Leonard Warner in the face of the quarterback.
A little credit needs to go to the defense too, and like you said, it's early in the game, less than a quarter into the season, but I've been impressed by the coverage in the back end and the amount of havoc they're trying to create up front with pressures and blitzes.
Yeah, a takeaway. They also had one that went for a touchdown called back because of a penalty. There's a flag down here as Mahone is out to about the 23-yard line.
he might have a Seminole that was lining up in the neutral zone. Or it certainly looked that way, at least, prior to the snap.
Offside. Defense number 11 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Janaris Robinson, who's been so disruptive so far in this game. You talk about the talent they have. You got Marvin Wilson, everybody knows about him, but Joshua Kando and Janaris Robinson, whose house was destroyed by Hurricane Michael. He had to evacuate to Georgia, so you know he is dealing with a lot of mixed emotions when you hear about the hurricane that's bearing down on Florida this weekend. Mahone picking up the first down out past the 35-yard line. Nazrul Dean, who blew out his cleats earlier, is back on the field, made the tackle.
You know, one of the things that helped that Florida State defense was having a long drive on offense last time to put the ball in the end zone, just to give them a rest. They've been on the field an awful lot here in the first quarter.
Yeah, long drive, relatively speaking. They've had the ball for about 3.5 minutes throughout the whole game, and they have 21 points to show for it.
Boise State has been able to move the ball, but their drives have stalled in the red zone. Mahone puts his head down and dropped at the 39-yard line, picking up just 2 yards. Tackle made by Robert Cooper and Dontavius Jackson. So that is end of the first quarter in Tallahassee. It turned into a home game, and the fans who live here in Tallahassee are certainly glad. What an offensive show in the first quarter by FSU. Quarter took almost an hour, but all the stoppages were because of the scores by Florida State. They had one that was called back because of a replay review as Bachmeier just turns and throws that away. That should be grounding. And he got back to the line of scrimmage, but there was no receiver in sight, and he was inside the pocket. Joshua Kando was right in his grill.
And this should definitely be grounding. Yeah, there it is.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 19. The quarterback was in the pocket, threw the ball into an area where there's no eligible receiver. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. Second down.
You can see the nearest eligible receivers here. The ball is here. So very obvious call by the official. And of course, Bachmeier did not exit the pocket. Great pressure right there, though, against the heavy play action. Florida State.
4 years together, that was your best use of the telescope.
That's deep football right there. That's deep stuff.
Bachmeier leaving the pocket here and has to tuck it and run and head for the hills. Fourth down.
And you have to be impressed with what Florida State's been able to do defensively as far as creating pressure and making the true freshman Bachmeier see some ghosts. I mean, it's really been impressive. I mean, he's gotten hit time and time again. Every time he drops back, looks like he's having to pick himself up off the grass. Got to give a lot of credit to Harlan Barnett and the way they've adjusted this look to try to create more difficulties for the opposing offenses.
Velasquez gets off a good one. Matthews signaling, and the fair catch made around the 10-yard line.
And the pressure has been relentless, and it's coming from all different places, right up the middle. You can see Gaynor on the game, moving right around. How about off the edges, where you see Robinson forcing the incompletion, and then Kando getting in the action as well on third and long situations. This Florida State defense done a great job of making Hank Bachmeier uncomfortable throughout the first 15 minutes of this game.
I mean, look at the final 5 games last year. 59 given up against Clemson, 47 allowed against NC State, 42 against Notre Dame, 41 against Florida. 6 in the first quarter allowed by Florida State's defense. Just the operation, night and day. Again, we were here for the last time they actually played a game against Florida in the regular season. Here's Blackman off a play fake, and it's a first down catch out past the 25-yard line. as Gavin gets his second grab of the day.
Just the operation looks so much smoother. Substitutions, execution. It's night and day.
Blackman in trouble and throws it away. There are two Broncos in the backfield. They haven't been able to get a lot of pressure, and they've done a good job on Curtis Weaver. He's got 20 sacks the last 2 years, but Weaver got some pressure that time on Blackman.
Lugs, they're mixing looks.
Yeah.
I mean, you think it's a run, you have to commit to the run because Akers has already hit him for a couple big ones, and they're hitting him with the slant right in behind. I mean, it's really been a nice job of mixing looks by Briles.
Leyburn able to break a tackle out past the 35-yard line, and it's another first down. We know how good Cam Akers can be, but they feel not equally good about Kalen Leyburn, but they think that he's got a chance to be a star. He was injured game 2 a year ago on a kick return, hurt his knee. He also redshirted 2 years ago, so first time they've had an opportunity to really look at him. Sophomore from Virginia Beach. Pass over the middle is a first down. Cameron McDonald, the tight end.
You know, both Cam Akers and LeBourne were the ESPN 300 running backs. It's signed in the same class. And as a result, this is a twofold, 1-2 punch, explosive backfield now with still pretty young players.
Blackman, pump fake, looking downtown, taking a shot. It's caught inside the 5. Warren Thompson on the grab, down to the 2-yard line.
Just a beautiful job on the double post. They fake the throw over the middle to draw the safety, which gives you one-on-one on the outside to Thompson. And he wins against the 5'9" Avery Williams on a post route and a great throw by Blackman.
So on first and goal from the 2, Leyburn gets the call and maybe lost a yard of the play. Good penetration. Ezekiel Noah in there along with Weaver for Boise State.
It's been really impressive to see the athleticism for Florida State to this point come to the forefront. Right here, though, it's all about the line of scrimmage. Can their offensive line give them some opportunities in the run game, or do they need to resort to a throwdown here?
Low snap. Blackman just has to take off on a broken play, and he is planted by Weaver and Hatada. So it's going to bring up third down and goal.
That's really, so far, Greg, the only execution error that we've seen out of this Florida State offense today.
And Florida State does not have Tamorrion Terry on the field right now, and he's the guy in this part of the field where you really want to emphasize him. He's 6'4", so he's a mismatch in coverage on any vertical passing game, so he's not in it. Let's see if they try to get Blackman outside the pocket, maybe give him a run-pass option.
And another botched play. Blackman has to fall on it, and it might be out of field goal range back at the 30-yard line. So we were talking about how great the operation has been, and then on back-to-back plays, you have a botched snap.
And we were watching walkthrough yesterday, and for whatever reason, the red zone, the operation wasn't as sharp. So you need to clean up that area of the field, of course. You got to get on the same page. A couple of errant snaps there. It's the communication, naturally, that appears to be a problem between Blackman and the center Johnson.
That's really the first time, though, that Florida State in this game has looked like what we saw a year ago. Here's Ricky Aguayo, struggled from this distance, 4 of 8, 40 to 49 yards a year ago. But he nails this one from 46 yards away. That extends the lead to 18 for Florida State here in Tallahassee. See how good Notre Dame is this year. Get a look at a Monday night. It's the only game on ESPN, 9th ranked to start the year. Notre Dame is at Louisville, and Scott Satterfield's debut as the Louisville head coach did very well at Appalachian State for 6 years. What do you think of the Irish this year?
I like them. I just think their schedule's tougher. And last year there was no road trip to Georgia in the schedule. There was no road trip to Stanford. I mean, they did have obviously a huge game at home against Michigan week 1, but now they have to go to Ann Arbor. So I expect them to be quite close to what they were last year as far as personnel. I'm just not sure that their record's going to be reflective of the improvement they might make.
So not a playoff team.
I think they're 10-2.
It will come out to the 25 for Boise State. And we'll see how Brian Harsin handles this with his true freshman quarterback. Given that, again, this was supposed to be a night game, neutral site. Now you've got a true road game. You've got general admission. Students get in free. Everybody else, it's $10. So you got a lot of Florida State fans that are here. You got a pocket of Boise fans that are right behind the bench. But how will the true freshman Hank Bachmeier handle this now?
I think they need to figure out a way to create some confusion defensively. Right now, Florida State is able to pin their ears back and just come right after the quarterback. So they got to change some tempo. They got to get some balls out of Hank Bachmeier's hands quickly and keep it in manageable down and distance.
They've had success running the ball. Mahone trying to find a hole, and a good hit by Nasruddin in the hole at the 27-yard line. So just a couple. Marvin Wilson on the stop as well. We talked to Marvin yesterday. One of the things Florida State coaches have been talking about is how the culture is changing with leadership from the players, guys being more vocal. We asked Marvin Wilson, well, are guys listening to you now? He said, well, look at me. You'd listen if I spoke, wouldn't you? Yes, sir.
Yes, I said. Absolutely, Marvin. Whatever you say, buddy.
We saluted, shook hands, and walked away. Bachmeier gets crushed by Wilson, but what a pass. It's caught for a first down. There's a penalty flag in the backfield. C.T. Thomas made the catch. Now, there again, if the penalty is on Florida State, Bachmeier does not have to leave the game, even though his helmet came off.
He doesn't know that, though, because he's over on the sideline right now, and you are going to get a shot to the head. Now, you talk about a freshman, a junior, a senior. Where do you see this?
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 21. High hit to the quarterback. A 15-yard penalty be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So they call roughing the passer. Did you guys see any reason for that to be targeting well?
It didn't, because targeting has adjusted this year. Is there an indicator? Which means, is there an attack with the forcible contact via a launch or a thrust? And it looks like right here, Wilson comes in, hits him, but he doesn't lower his head. He doesn't launch towards the head or neck area. Of course, Bachmeier is defenseless, but no, I did not see targeting. So it's a good job of applying the new addendum to the targeting rule.
And as mentioned, Bachmeier can stay in the game. They run Mahone. Lowers the shoulder and crosses the 40-yard line. Grabbed by Lars Woodby.
Tell you, Greg, you got to respect how the freshman hung in there, though, because it's so easy for your eyes to come down, right?
Oh, man.
And he's downfield. He's seeing what's downfield and throws a strike with some chin music.
I'll tell you what, he hasn't flinched.
No, he hasn't.
We just talked about being scared of Marvin Wilson. I'm 31 years old. I'm scared to death of Marvin Wilson. He's a big dude. And I tell you what, Bachmeier hung in there and delivered a strike over the middle.
Pressure off the edge. Bachmeier's pass high, and it's picked off at the 30-yard line. Intercepted by Isaiah Bolden. Hank Bachmeier's mom, April, looking on as his son turns it over. Her son turns it over with 9:04 to go. Second takeaway by the Knoll defense.
All right, watch on the edge and look at the eyes. All right, look at how his eyes never come off the quarterback. He sees it all the way. That's called palms coverage, where he is always looking, and if there's an underneath route that's run, an out route into his zone, he leaves his receiver in his post, and he goes up and he makes the play on the widely thrown out route. Excellent job defensively of reading out of coverage and making a play on the football.
Florida
Baited him into it, too.
Yeah, that was an excellent job. And that's advanced. I mean, that's really, really hard for a quarterback to see that adjustment by a defensive back that late in his drop and in his process. Just a great, great play for Florida State.
They could really put this thing out of reach now if they can march down the field and score. Mike Defee, the referee, having a conversation with Willie Taggart. Let's give Willie Taggart some credit. I know we've been talking a lot about Kendall Briles, but he was hired by Taggart. Willie took a lot of heat last year for a 5-7 season. Cam Akers up the middle to the 37-yard line.
To me, though, Dave and Greg, it's how it's looked. It hasn't been sloppy. It hasn't been on the sideline that we didn't see a year ago from the coaches. Just improvement all across the board.
Akers again. Big hole past the 45-yard line. Takes off inside the 40 of Boise State and finally pushed out of bounds. There's an injured Seminole on the play, but again, that looked like a neat design 30 yards.
Yeah, nice counter action. And a good block up front as you see Akers get into the open field.
And we'll get you the injured player is Brady Scott, their left guard. .24-6 Florida State left guard Brady Scott injured, taken off. He's in the tent. We'll see who they replace him with. Right now that offensive line looks good. The entire offense does as well.
Yeah, and they've neutralized Boise State's best defensive player. That's Curtis Weaver. He's got 20.5 sacks in the last 2 years. Preseason Mountain West Player of the Year defensively, but they're not blocking him. If you can't block him, no worries, don't. They're letting him be free, and they are making decisions off of what he does. You see he's unblocked. He stays on the running back. That allows Blackman to get to the edge, throw easy pitch and catch. It's been really interesting to see how many times throughout the course of this game Curtis Weaver's been unblocked, but it hasn't led to anything.
Here's just two astonishing stats when you consider how porous Florida State was offensively last year. They've already got 300 yards total offense. They didn't have games last year where they had 300 yards, and they're averaging 13 yards every first down. Look at their drives have all been lengthy too. And there were points taken off the board on a replay reversal, a touchdown scored by the defense that was overturned.
It's been a dominant performance by Florida State so far on both sides of the football.
Blackman off play action, leaves the pocket, still looking downfield, unloads into double coverage, and it is incomplete. So broken up at the last second. DJ Matthews, the intended receiver. You had Tyreek Jones down there making the play for Boise. Don't forget Oregon-Auburn ABC tonight. Akers straight ahead. Runs into the arms of Bruno DeRose at the 29-yard line. 3-yard pickup.
No, Dave, Greg, you talk about the 300 yards of total offense, but really it's been the offensive line that's been the difference so far. That's been the biggest, most improved area by a mile so far in 2 quarters of this football team.
Going to throw it here on 3rd down. Blackman is chased, and the ball comes out, and it's scooped up by Moa. David Moa, the 6th-year player out of San Diego, scoops up the fumble by Blackman.
Spoke too soon, Greg.
It was Kaniho getting the pressure on Blackman and the strip.
And this is just an overload pressure. Kaniho is unblocked. Blackman's got to recognize that, hey, I got to throw a hot route. I got to lose the football somewhere, because they brought 2 to a side when I only had 1 blocker. And Kaniho does a great job of bringing that right hand over the top and hitting the right-handed quarterback, knocking that ball loose. You talk to anybody around the Boise State program, say the heart and soul of this team are 2 guys, David Moa, who recovered the fumble, and Kekela Kaniho, who caused it.
And they led the country a year ago in recovered fumbles. They get one here. Can they take advantage of it? On 1st down, they run the true freshman George Halani, and it's a good pickup. Around the 33-yard line is where he ends up, a gain of 7.
And if I'm Boise State, at some point, I got to call a trick play. Maybe right here. You have 2nd and short. You're running the ball pretty well. I got to figure out a way to steal some points. And they haven't really had a lot of success through the air. They haven't had a lot of success blocking them, but got to take a shot downfield at some point.
You just expect a trick play from Boise State, too. Holani, first down. Knocked down at the 26-yard line. But enough to move the chains as we are at the midway point of the second quarter, and Boise State needing a touchdown, you would assume, the way Florida State's offense has gone, save that last possession. First down at the 27 of FSU. Holani again. And Jackson, Warner team up on the tackle a couple of yards downfield.
Well, Greg, maybe that razzle-dazzle or trick play needs to come in the red area. Uttered the most. Haven't been able to convert third downs and get points on the board. This might be the region if they get a little bit closer.
I think it's coming. At some point or another, Boise will run a trick play. It's just a matter of when.
It's 2nd and 8 here. It's play action. Bachmeier going to throw it back here to Holani, and he has a blocker out there, but a beautiful move. Holani with a great cut at the 10, and you see why they are so high on this true freshman out of Bellflower, California. George Holani takes it to the 4-yard line for 21 yards.
But how about the block by Shakir, number 2? Watch, you'll see him right out in front, and he is just driving all the way to the end zone. Look, lock up, go. Run your feet. And he blocks his guy almost all the way to the end zone. You can see Holani almost scores as a result of the effort by Khalil Shakir. Excellent job by the sophomore wide receiver that plays out of the slot.
So 1st and goal at the 4-yard line for Boise State. Trying to capitalize on their first takeaway of the game. They're going to keep Holani as the tailback. They'll give it to him. Goes high up in the air and only picks up a yard on the play. Corey Durden there for Florida State.
Tell you what, it's going to be really tough to gain those yards right up the middle. I know you like your offensive line. All 5 starters return. You have some big bodies. But if you look at Florida State, they got bigger bodies, including Robert Cooper, who's 350 pounds. Of course, Marvin Wilson, one of the best defensive tackles in America, in there around 315. It's really hard to move it right at the middle.
And Mahone makes it down to the 1-yard line, so they did get some movement up front. But Mahone was denied around the 1-yard line by A.J. Litton, so it's 3rd down and goal.
And it's 4-down territory, too. With the way your defense has played, they haven't really been very successful slowing down the Seminole offense. Field goals aren't going to help you in this one. You have to think you have a yard to gain, and you have 2 downs to get it. They bring in a big body in the backfield, number 57. Manuel Cassilli, the nose tackle. Let's see if they follow him.
It's Mahone. He's in. Touchdown, Boise State. The first touchdown of 2019 for the Broncos. So Mahone nearing 100 rushing yards already in this game. Boise State, you knew they're just too good of a team to go away. And it was the terrific play by one of their leaders, Kaniho, getting the strip, the recovery by Moa, and then Boise State able to take advantage and get a touchdown.
Trying to replace an excellent running back is never easy, but Mahone is doing his part. He finds the end zone as Hank Bachmeier looking in on his first start with relief after their first touchdown, and his mom loving it. Boise's back in the game.
A huge score for Boise State. Ryan Harson's team needed to make something happen and did on defense with a takeaway. They get 7 points out of it. with 4:34 to go till halftime. Fair caught by Helton. It'll come out to the 25. So Brian Harsin, born and raised in Boise, and he played quarterback there in 1995, 99, Dirk Cutter. Then he was the tight end coach 2002 to 2005. Then Chris Peterson took over for Dan Hawkins, and Harsin was the offensive coordinator. Got the head coaching job after 1 year at Arkansas State as the head coach. Now in his 6th season. Great to meet with him. We were out in Boise a couple weeks ago. And this personality and the way he views the program, very similar to Chris Peterson.
Just very impressed with the culture that's been built there. And obviously, Dan Hawkins, Chris Peterson, of course, Brian Harsin, they deserve so much credit for creating that culture and sustaining it.
Here's Terry on the catch. And nice job. Make that turn and get to the sideline of the 42-yard line for 17 yards.
No, they still flew into Jacksonville, guys, and got their practice, got called yesterday because of lightning, then moved into a basketball gym, and there was a Boise blue cover over the wood. They figured, hey, it's an omen.
That's cool. Blackman with a pump fake, taking a shot deep. He's got Helton, and Helton's got the ball, and he's got a touchdown. Third touchdown pass for James Blackman. Good bounce back by him after he turned it over on the previous drive.
Just a beautiful throw and an excellent route. They fake a little post, which puts Nawahine, the safety, in a real bind, and he beats him over the top. Really nice isolation and a great call by offensive coordinator Kendall Briles.
Another extra point for Aguayo. So in a heartbeat, less than 30 seconds, Florida State steals momentum back with a deep ball. The offense for the Noles rolling. We don't even know if James Blackman was going to be the starter because DeAndre Francois was the starter last year, but got kicked off the team. Blackman has played beautifully. He's got as many touchdowns as incompletions so far in the first half, 3, and he's thrown for 276 yards against what many expect to be a very good defense in the Mountain West, Boise State. Florida State's put up 31 points. Again, they had a touchdown called back as well, after averaging 22 points per game as a team a year ago, over 60 minutes. This is in less than 19. Logan Tyler kicking it deep and goes out of bounds in the end zone. It's a touchback.
Well, Florida State has done a good job both through the air and on the ground, and as a result of that ground attack, they've had to force Boise State into a little bit of a unique situation defensively. Dimitri Washington's off the edge. He doesn't get any reroute because he's concerned about the running game, which puts Helton in a one-on-one situation against Nawahine. And look at the route, just a little post pump. And it's beautifully thrown over the top by Blackman. Very difficult to cover when you have a wide receiver with Helton's explosiveness with a full head of steam against a flat-footed safety. Almost impossible to defend. Great job by Florida State and a great call.
Bachmeier throws into traffic and it's incomplete. It was intended for Shakir, and Butler was trying to block Asante Samuel. Samuel almost picked it off, and in fact the ball was scooped up by Lars Woodby, and they're saying it's a touchdown. Boy, it looked like the ball hit the ground. The official was right there. Maybe they're saying it was a backwards pass.
The ruling on the field is a backwards pass.
There you go.
Recovered by the defense for a touchdown.
Everybody stopped except Lars Woodby. I guarantee you the coaches for Florida State said that's a live ball. It was a backwards pass.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm looking at it. I don't think it's a backwards pass. I mean, I see Bachmeier throwing it from the 20-yard line. It looks as though it hits at the 21-yard line. So I
again, you have
this at all.
You have the call on the field being a backwards pass, so you have to be certain to overturn it. But Looks pretty clear from the video there, right?
Yeah, I'm all for letting them play, 100%. Letting them play and then clean it up on the back end. But this doesn't look that. That doesn't even look that close to me. From that angle, it's a little more, but it's a little deceiving. From the other angle, this one especially, looks like he's at the 20 as he throws it. His legs straddling the 20-yard line, and that ball hits Shakir on the toe at around the 19.
No, the 21.
The 21, excuse me.
Yep.
Bad math. And it looks forward to me.
Yeah.
Looks pretty clear.
But the whistle didn't blow.
Yeah, and honestly, give Florida State credit.
Yeah.
Heads up. I mean, that's a heads up play. Hey, just go pick it up, run to the end zone, and if it's a touchdown, it's a touchdown. If it's not, no big deal. You come out, you play 2nd and 10.
If it's not a touchdown, which we don't think it will be, it would be the second defensive touchdown called back because of replay here.
That's got to be the single longest delay of a live ball call in the history of football.
That was a long one. That felt like an eternity.
Yeah, I know.
But here's what's taking so long again, because you're going to have an overturn. They got to figure out, okay, time on the clock, because you've got to put time back on, down and distance, where to spot the ball, all that.
After review, it's been determined that it was a forward pass that's incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 25-yard line on the right hash. The game clock is correct. It didn't run after the ball hit the ground.
So even the clock operator didn't run it.
And honestly, that's one, the officials, though, I'm okay they let it go. Because if it was a backwards pass and they blew it dead, that can alter the game. So I'm okay with that, but I'd love to see him clean it up a little and get that decision quicker.
Score is actually 31-13. Open man in the middle of the field is John Bates into Seminole territory. Now you can see why the Boise State coaches went with Hank Bachmeier, not just because of the talent, but man, he's endured some hits today and has showed some resilience.
Yeah, he's tough, he's accurate, just needs his offensive line to help him out, keep that jersey clean a little more often.
Here's Taylor coming out of blitz off the edge, well blocked by Mahone, and so the quarterback Bachmeier picks up a 1st down and then slides to the 33.
Tell you, Greg, what a great blitz pickup by the running back there, 34, Robert Mahone. Wow.
Yeah, nice
he made
job.
that play.
Yeah, crossing the center's face and saving a quarterback's life.
Mahone, tons of running room inside the 20-yard line. They have had some success running the ball on Florida State. Can they finish this drive as they're in the red zone now? Just outside 3 minutes to go. There's an injured Seminole, and it's Janaris Robinson who's had a big impact on this game. So 31-13 the score. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville down on the field. Are you as surprised as I am? Not just with Florida State, but the fact they're doing this against Boise State, which is well respected, a 10-win team a year ago, and a lot of people expect to be a Mountain West contender this year.
Yeah, I can't tell you how impressive these first 27 minutes have been by the Seminoles, both on offense and on defense. Now, hey, you don't expect Boise State to go away, and Florida State has had some self-imposed mistakes. The fumble, snapping it backwards a couple times as they got close to the end zone that resulted in a field goal and lost 30 yards as a result. But Florida State, all the things that plagued them last year, being unable to substitute, lack of effort on defense, post-snap penalties, doing things that just aren't really sound. We haven't seen any of that. Right. So I've been so impressed so far here in the first half from a Seminole team that came into the season with some serious questions, and it appears as though they've addressed a lot of those issues.
You know, Willie Taggart was telling us yesterday, you know, he's used to taking over a program where he's following a coach that gets fired.
Yeah.
And this is the first time he's taken over a program where you're replacing a guy who won a national championship 6 years ago. And he was telling us it took a while for the players to get over the emotion of losing their head coach and adjusting to a different voice. First down for Boise State at the 20-yard line. Bachmeier over the middle. It's high, and he had him. Incomplete. C.T. Thomas was open.
Yeah, he had a chance here. Did a good job keeping his eyes vertical. Stepped into the throw. Just got to bring those sights down just a touch. It's a good decision. Correct place to go with the football. Beautiful route, by the way, by C.T. Thomas. Slipping inside the defender, giving his quarterback a chance. Just got to bring that accuracy down just a touch.
They go empty here. Bachmeier to the end zone. Again overshot his man. Didn't even give Octavius Evans a chance, throwing that one out the back of the end zone. 3rd down and 10.
More pressure coming in on Bachmeier there too. As he took a hit right as he was getting ready to throw. Man.
That was Kando, who's 6'7", 260. Bachmeier on 3rd down and 10, in trouble and sacked. Kando is back there, along with McCray.
All right, just a nice job here, running a little loop.
Florida State,
and as a result,
takes their first time out of the half.
They don't pass off the TE, which results in yet another quarterback sack. This one, it's a tough sack to take, and this is one too. It's difficult naturally. It's 3rd and 10. You're looking for a player downfield, but when you're on the cusp of field goal range, you can't take a sack in this part of the field because it only makes it 4 yards more difficult for your kicker. You have to figure out a way, regardless of the situation, to throw it out of bounds or try to throw it at someone's feet. Something that Hank Bachmeier will learn, though, as he progresses throughout the course of what should be an excellent career.
You got a former walk-on who had been kicking at Trinity College in Hartford and just earned a scholarship recently in camp. He's 2 for 2 today, but those were about 5 yards closer. 41-yard attempt for sacks. That hugs the left upright, and it's good. 3 for 3 for Eric Sachs. ACC football is here. Go to ACCN.com to check for providers in your area for the ACC network. If you don't see yours listed, contact them to demand they carry the ACC network. We were hanging out the other night watching ACC network as Clemson opened defense of its championship in impressive fashion against Georgia Tech. One guy that struggled in that game is Trevor Lawrence, their quarterback.
Yeah,
he struggled, but he made some mistakes.
No, he didn't look anything like the guy we saw at the end of the year. Disappointing performance from him. But how about Travis Etienne and the performance that he had? That kid, we talked so much throughout the offseason about Trevor Lawrence and how great he is and how he's the Heisman frontrunner, all these things, that we forgot that there's another Heisman contender on that team as well. Right. There's a guy that was in the hunt for the Heisman there in the first 8 or 9 weeks of the season. That's Travis Etienne, who certainly reminded everybody just how capable he is with a 200-plus yard performance.
Wonder if it's going to be another year like last year where you have an idea who's going to win the Heisman, and then somebody that really wasn't on the radar because nobody knew Kyler Murray was going to be that good end up winning it in the end. Is that guy out there in 2019? Velasquez kicking it off here. This will be a touchback and come to the 25-yard line. So we mentioned Clemson beating Georgia Tech over on ABC later today. Alabama takes on Duke. I want to ask you about them in a second. Georgia at Vanderbilt. That's on ESPN tonight. That's replacing our game, which was scheduled to be in Jacksonville on ESPN tonight. Oklahoma, Houston, ABC tomorrow night. Ohio State taking care of FAU so far. Florida beat Miami in week 0 last week. Notre Dame, Louisville on ESPN Monday night. Alabama with the loss to Moses. The defense last year exposed against Clemson. They also had some games during the regular season where you thought, okay, they're not as good as normal. How impactful is that loss?
Well, it's a big one. He's their signal caller, but they're very talented. They're just young at the second level with 2 true freshmen. They'll be starting on the interior.
Here's Wilson on the perimeter, gets about a yard.
What I'm really interested in is to see Georgia tonight. I mean, they bring everybody back. They talked about doing more this offseason. Seeing Georgia against Vandy is one that I'm really looking forward to.
great defensive play as the catch was made by Thompson, but Jalen Walker was right there, read that beautifully. It's 3rd and long.
A nice job by Walker going up and beating Helton to the point, making a nice physical tackle.
Boise State trying to get the ball back as Blackman is sacked. Sonatane Louis makes the play and forces Florida State to punt.
How about Louis just finding a way to kind of just beat through the left guard and making a nice tackle. Just a little swim move. Louis not exactly their go-to guy in regards to pass rush. Tell you what though, he made that look very smooth. Step up and drop Blackman for a big loss. Nice.
He's so low to the ground.
Yeah, that was a nice 3-play sequence from Boise, though, Lugs, who really haven't done a whole lot that you'd love to see defensively throughout the first half.
Right. They need to get in the locker room. They need to address 2 things: explosive plays and tackling. And, that's been a theme of what we've seen in week 0 and so far in week 1. And that's an area that needs to get shored up for Boise State on the defensive side in the locker room here coming up shortly.
Interesting here. Boise State scores a touchdown. They're within a possession, even though they've been dominating in this game. Bachmeier's 0 for 6 in the red zone. They have not been able to finish drives. First punt for Florida State, and it's not a good one from Tyler. And it's going to die around the 41-yard line, so it ends up okay. 34 yards, but it was only about 26 in the air. So Boise State takes over on the 40, guys, with 2 timeouts left. What's your strategy?
I think you run the football. They ran the ball really effectively on the last drive and used some tempo, really for the first time. No reason at this point. Obviously, clock stops after every first down. You have 1 minute and 53 seconds. You don't think about taking a timeout until you get to around the 40-second mark. I think you come out, you run your offense. No need to be in high-octane tempo at this point. Plenty of time with a couple timeouts in your pocket.
First true freshman to start a season opener for Boise State since they moved to FBS 23 years ago. Bachmeier's pass is high and incomplete. Marvin Wilson got pressure. Butler was the intended receiver. So Bachmeier's been high, guys, the last couple possessions on several throws.
I agree with Greg. I think they would have opted to run the football there, which they've done successfully throughout the first half. This is an important series for Florida State on defense because they get the ball offensively coming out of the halftime.
They'd love to get it back for their offense with time on the clock too, Tom. See if they can get some points before intermission. See if Boise State takes your guys' advice here and runs it on 2nd down with Mahone. Nope, going to be a pass play. Bachmeier with time to throw. It was high, but it's caught. And let's see if Butler got out of bounds. No, he did not. Clock is running. It's a pickup of about 8.
Now you have the option. It's 3rd and short. You can run it or throw it. Clearly, as evidenced by the first couple plays of this drive, they're thinking through the air. But you also have to think with this quick strike ability of this Florida State offense, you certainly don't want to leave any time on the clock and allow James Blackman and company back out on the field.
They shift Shakir out of the backfield. And that's where the ball's going. And Shakir has the football, making the catch. The clock will stop to move the chains with 1:09 to go as Boise State is into Florida State territory.
And now you start to think about tempo a little bit. Now you start to pick it up. As you recognize about 60 seconds left. Got to have a little urgency.
Another pass play. Bachmeier over the middle, and it was dropped by Evans. 2nd and 10. Bachmeier, true freshman from Murrieta, California. He was homeschooled until high school. He's got 3 brothers named Bear, Tiger, and Buck. We already mentioned what the family's dealing with. His dad, Mike, underwent brain surgery 2 weeks ago, so he's not here. It's the first game of Hank's he's missed in 14 years. So Mom April is here. Bachmeier. He's got Butler, and let's see, it's gain of about 4. You said, do you stop it with 40 seconds? It's 3rd down. We'll see how they handle it with 2 timeouts left.
You just play with urgency. I would hang on to my timeout at this point. I certainly wouldn't be willing to burn one at this point, knowing that you could give a lot of extra time to Florida State if you stop.
Florida State rushing 4. Bachmeier stumbled a little bit in the pocket. Now throws downfield. Got a man. Thomas on the catch inside the 10. Bachmeier did a heck of a job. A timeout called here. Clock stop anyway just to reset the chains. 24 seconds to go.
What an excellent job by Hank Bachmeier. And dropping back, not seeing anything initially, buying a little time in the pocket, and keeping his eyes downfield. This is a veteran throw. He sees that corner collapse just a little bit, giving him just enough room to get it to Thomas as he scrambled to the left. That was an excellent throw and a great decision against that deep cover 2 type of defense where the corner's eyes are up near the line of scrimmage.
You know, and Greg, it's easy to see why they chose this kid as their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, where he's at with his eyes, where he's at with his feet. He hasn't deviated from the plan. He hasn't gone in the tank when things haven't been ideal. He just kind of keeps chipping away. And again, this Florida State defense, Florida State's getting the ball coming out of the locker room at halftime. They cannot allow a touchdown right here because now momentum swings for Boise State, and it's an entirely different football game going into the locker room at half.
Tom, you're down there. You've been watching Florida State defense. They huffing and puffing. They've been out there a ton in this heat and humidity.
They're not. They've got some really good position groups, and they've been rotating. You know, we're seeing various looks, but we're also seeing various position groups shuffle in 3 and 4 at a time. They look sharp.
First and goal on the 10 for Boise State with 24 seconds to go and a timeout remaining. Bachmeier throwing a fade to the corner for Thomas. He can't come up with it. Nasruddin in coverage. Thomas is giving up about 7 inches on that pass play. You're throwing a fade against a defender who's that much taller than the receiver.
Yeah, but I like the throw. I mean, there's a little hesitation by Thomas to try to create a little separation. See him just peel away from the defender. That was a great throw by Bachmeier. Just I'd love to have seen Thomas bring that one in, reward his quarterback after the nice toss.
They run it here to Mahone, and he's dragged down at the 9-yard line. That was Dennis Briggs making the stop. Another timeout is called here with 14 seconds left. Boise State out of timeouts. So now you got 3rd and goal. I mean, are you thinking that this one has to go to the end zone because you're out of a timeout? I mean, there's any chance that you can get 2 plays off if you run the football in 14 seconds?
No. Okay. You have to go to the end zone, and you have to understand, hey, it's got to be quick because any sack eliminates the possibility of points more than likely. It has to be high in the back of the end zone. If you're Boise State, you say it's us or no one. It's one of those throws. So who's your best option at wide receiver? You're probably going to look in the direction of John Hightower. 6'2", hasn't done a ton, at least in the second quarter. I'm going to look in his direction, or one of my tight ends perhaps, and try to find him along the back edge of the end zone, especially if they can find out a way to go one-on-one coverage.
The score right now would be a lot different if Boise State were able to capitalize in the red zone. Bachmeier has not completed a pass in the red zone yet.
Keep in mind, Dave and Greg, watch Florida State align on defense in their secondary. They are in the face of these Boise receivers. They're daring them to throw it. They're saying, hey, listen, freshman quarterback, you're going to have to throw into tight coverage.
Here's Hightower, split out to the left.
Bachmeier rolling to his right. Holds on to the ball, now throws back across the middle. And it's caught for a touchdown by Butler. There's a penalty marker down in the end zone.
The back judge was trailing him the entire time, and I think they're going to check to see if he was out on the back end line.
If the receiver stepped out, he can't be the first to touch the football unless he is blocked out by the defense and forced out. Then he can come back in and touch it.
The receiver went out of bounds, number 7, came back in, was the first to touch. This is illegal touching, therefore it's a loss of down at the previous spot, 4th down.
you're going to see Butler. You're going to see him work to the end right here, and he's going to step out before he comes back to try to make the catch. Good job by the officials recognizing that and making the correct illegal touching call.
So Sachs with the field goal, and it's good. So again, Boise State unable to capitalize on the red zone, but they do get points. 4 for 4 for Eric Sachs as the first half comes to an end. Could be a lot worse for Boise State given the fact they have not been able to stop Florida State at all, and the Noles had 2 defensive touchdowns called back because of replay. I'm sure the coaches for Boise State will talk to senior Killian Butler and say, you got to know where you are in the field. There was not even a defender near him, so it was an easy call for the officials. And he went out on his own, came back in. Still Bachmeier. It's a great throw. All right, let's check in with Tom.
Well, Coach, a lot of positives to take into the locker room there. If there's an area that you feel needs to be addressed most to come out in the third quarter, what would it be?
Well, we got to tackle better on defense, and we got to stop letting the quarterback get out of contain. We lose the contain, and we're giving up too many big plays on defense, and a lot of them have to do with tackling.
You've also created your fair share of explosive plays on offense. How would you assess the performance of James Blackman so far?
I think James doing a good job leading our offense down there and scoring. We had one bad series there, and other than that, he's done a great job.
Blackman with as many touchdowns, 3, as incompletions in the first half, and Florida State leads 31-19. We come back. Matt Berry, Jesse Palmer, Joy Galloway will catch you up with everything at halftime after these messages. On ESPN, Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville in Tallahassee. Hot, humid. James Blackman stretching out after a brilliant first half where he threw 3 touchdown passes. Florida State up 12 on Boise State. And the season opener for both teams, the game originally scheduled for Saturday night on ESPN in Jacksonville, moved to a noon kickoff 2.5 hours west to Tallahassee because of threats of Hurricane Dorian. Florida State will start on offense here in the second half, and it will be a touchback and come out to the 25.
This Florida State offense has looked excellent in the first half, mostly because of these explosive plays. How about Cam Akers' first drive of the season, breaking through, breaking a tackle, then going the distance. And then Terry wanted in on the action. Made a guy miss, great block on the outside. He goes the distance for a 75-yard touchdown catch and run. And then the double move post pump to Helton out of the slot. Beautiful throw by James Blackman on the vertical. It's been really impressive to watch this Florida State offense work throughout the course of the day. Let's see what Kendall Briles has dialed up for the second half.
And on that touchdown by Akers, that was on 4th down. They did not convert on 3rd down that entire first half. Yet have 31 points. Blackman going to run it here. Don't know if there's miscommunication. If that was intended, there's a flag down as well. Blackman scoots out of play, close to the line to gain at the 35-yard line. Brady Scott, the left guard who was injured in the first half, is back out there for Florida State.
Holding. Offense number 3. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
It's on Cam Akers. Here's Tom down on the field.
Well, fellas, talking to Coach Brian Harsin at Boise State, 3 distinct areas. None of them will surprise you. We've got to have better red zone production. We can't turn over the football. And most importantly, we've got to tackle. Explosive plays on the ground where they miss tackling opportunities have cost him in the first half. But he feels good about it because he feels like the team's just a player away to getting the momentum back.
Blackman trying to set up the screen to Akers. It's covered, and now Akers comes open. He's got it past the 20. And out near the 25-yard line. Wimpy on the tackle. Ezekiel Noah was trying to track down Akers and defend him from getting that screen pass.
That was a good job by Akers. He was covered at first, but kept working and finding some space.
Greg, that was that 4-pump screen.
That was a long screen right there. Excellent job by Akers uncovering that.
Now they hand it to Akers. Breaks a tackle. And then finally grabbed and spun down by Wimpy. Curtis Weaver had a chance to get him at the line of scrimmage, but could not. But they're in a manageable 3rd down after being in 1st and 20. Third and 8. Again, no 3rd down conversions. 0 for 4 in the first half. Blackman hits McKitty, and he stretches out We'll see. Looks like they're going to mark him short. Probably stepped out before he extended the ball, even though the fans are booing. But Florida State's up to the line as if they're going to go for it on 4th down.
It's a good effort from McKitty. Florida State went for it in a very similar circumstance early in the game, and it led to a touchdown. So this time backed up, though, in their own end. Difficult spot on the field to even consider going for it.
Yeah, especially when you got a 12-point lead, first drive of the second half.
What a much-needed series, though, on defense for Boise State, fellas.
See if they can get something out of their return game. Avery Williams, a very good punt returner. Now we've got a stoppage. They may review the spot and where McKitty went out of bounds and where the ball was when he went out of bounds.
It looked like he stretched. It was tough to see exactly where he went down.
Florida State is taking a timeout to challenge the spot on 4th down.
So keep in mind now, this did not come from the booth. Makes it interesting. If the booth didn't signal down, that means they were leaning towards the play standing, but the head coach of Florida State, Willie Taggart, believed otherwise, and it was right in front of him. It was right in front of the Florida State bench, so he takes a timeout to challenge the ruling on the field. Now the question is, where's the ball when he's down?
You can see that left arm extend. Just tough to tell exactly where his body was down. And honestly, it looked initially as though McKitty extended the ball before he hit the ground. And I thought it was a first down at initial glance because of the effort.
And it really didn't look close, did it? I mean, it looked like he had it and stretched it out well past the 35-yard line.
And he's laying on the Boise player.
Correct. And the left arm's extended before it looks as though that left hip and left knee are on the ground.
But the angles that the officials have, is that enough to overturn the ruling on the field? I think it is.
After reviewing the play, the runner's knees were off the ground. He extended the ball beyond the 35-yard line. It is a first down. The ball be placed just beyond the 35-yard line. 1st and 10.
Guys, that's big. It was 1st and 20. Boise State trying to get quick 3 and out. And now the Noles offense, which has been potent today, decent field position after picking up that 3rd down.
And an excellent use of the challenge, too, by Willie Taggart, calling the timeout and getting the play overturned.
And gets to keep that timeout. Going to go back to the ground here in Akers. He's grounded after a gain of about 2 by Scale, Igehan, and DeRose.
One thing I am seeing a difference of, guys, is Boise State's defensive front is getting off of blocks much better in this series in the first one than they did in the first half.
Blackman with a quick throw, a little behind Matthews, and did a good job to keep his balance initially, but still tackled for a loss on the play. Tyreek Jones was back there, so was Kaniho, who's been wreaking havoc in the backfield a lot today. He had the forced fumble in the first half on Blackman. 3rd and 11 now for Florida State. Play action. Blackman looking deep, taking a shot. Incomplete. Intended for Helton. Or check that. Wilson, the intended receiver, and Jalen Walker in coverage. It's 4th down.
Jalen Walker one-on-one. Clearly beat, slightly underthrown. But you see Walker get his head back towards the football, trying to make a play on the ball. There is some contact naturally, but they didn't feel as though it was enough. I think in large part due to the fact that Walker turned around and tried to catch the ball himself. I think it's a good no call. I really do.
I'm with you. As you said, smart play by Walker too. So Tyler to punt, hasn't been often. Avery Williams, a very good returner, but not going to get a chance here. Great hang time. And it's fair caught around the 23-yard line. So true freshman Hank Bachmeier had a solid first half. We'll see what he does after halftime adjustments in a moment.
Welcome back to Tallahassee, where true freshman Hank Bachmeier is making his first career start. When he's had a clean pocket, he's thrown the ball very accurately. However, that clean pocket hasn't happened very often, but as the half came to a close, he started to make some plays, bought a little extra time, moved to his left, and threw a nice strike down the left sideline. He's also used his legs a little bit. He's not as athletic as the guy he beat out in Chase Cord, but he's very good with the football. It's been a decent start so far for the young quarterback.
Hands it off to Robert Mahone here, and he is stoned. Joshua Kando was there first. Or check that, Robinson on the tackle. Gain of a couple.
You have to think Boise feel good about what they've done running the football. I mean, Mahone's gone for almost 100 in the first half alone, so you got to think they're probably going to continue to try to emphasize what they've accomplished already at the line of scrimmage.
They had a lot of good runs on first down in the first half. They're not here to start the second half. Only a yard or two for Mahone. Dontavius Jackson, who was the number 2 tackler on this Florida State defense a year ago, made the play. You talked about Harlan Barnett deserving some credit. They switched to a 3-4 defensively this year. A lot of talent up front for the Noles. And they make something happen here on 3rd and 6. Try to get the ball back for their offense. Boise State has been very good on 3rd down so far. And Bachmeier to the air here. Lobs it up and knocked away. Incomplete. Nasruddin was there. Butler, the intended receiver. That ball took forever to get to the sideline.
And the pressure brought by Florida State, the pocket just collapsed right around Hank Bachmeier, and he couldn't really get a lot of velocity on the throw. Florida State defense has been tenacious throughout the course of the first half, and here early in the second half with the pressure they're applying to the quarterback.
So Velasquez to punt. Boise State really struggled in the kicking game a year ago. So far so good in this game, although as I say that off the side of the foot of Velasquez, but it works out okay. Taking a nice hop to about the 26-yard line. 43-yard punt. No return. Early third quarter in Tallahassee. His pass incomplete. Was high, intended for John Bates. There's some pressure by Stanford Samuels. So you got a true freshman quarterback. Brett Rippon was a 4-year guy. All-time leading passer in the Mountain West. You had Alexander Madison, a 3rd-round draft pick at running back. They also lost their top 2 receivers from a year ago. And they've struggled when they've gotten into the red zone today. Otherwise, the offense has been decent. The 1 interception by Bachmeier. Pass over the middle is caught. Across the 25-yard line of Shakir. Kando brings him down along with Becker.
I tell you, Greg, these backs for Boise State, man, they will step up and knock you out in the hole. What great pass protection, once again, protecting the young quarterback, Bachmeier.
There's been so many delayed pressures from Florida State. A couple plays ago, though, you referenced Stanford Samuels coming off the edge. I mean, Florida State has given Boise State so many looks defensively with late pressures that it's a credit to these running backs for Boise. It's a credit to them for recognizing those pressures, especially Helani, the true freshman, when he's been in there.
Carlos Becker shaken up. You look at Boise State's schedule, they have to go to BYU, also to Utah State. Jordan Love, who many think is a future NFL first-round draft pick, he struggled with 3 interceptions for Utah State yesterday. They don't play Fresno State in the regular season. But obviously, Boise State every year is a contender to win the Mountain West.
Yeah, they're so well coached. Such a culture that's been created there, and they have really good personnel. When we went up and saw them, I was fully expecting to see a Group of 5 school. Maybe a school is slightly smaller, but still had great athletes. It was the opposite. They had big bodies and capable guys along the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively.
Everybody in our line is 6'4", 300 pounds or bigger. Bachmeier steps up, delivers. First down catch by Butler. And he's taken down at the 40-yard line. 18-yard pickup for Boise State.
That was really well done by Hank Bachmeier and a great job by his offensive line. I mean, holding off, seeing the twists going on up front. Bachmeier keeps his eyes downfield, drifts forward, throws a strike for a 3rd down conversion.
They're going to run Mahone into a wall at the 43. You know, for young quarterbacks that might be watching this, kids that are high school or want to be quarterbacks growing up, that last play, Greg, is that by Bachmeier, is that innate, the climbing the pocket, or is that coached?
No, that's coached. Because natural instinct, as soon as you see that disappearance, I want to take off. I want to go run. Bachmeier, however, poised, moved up in the pocket, kept his eyes downfield, and located the wide open receiver for the first down conversion.
Bachmeier in second down. Pulled in by Evans, and he's got the first down and more. Oh, well, look what he did to the defender. He trucked Stanford Samuels and is inside the 40-yard line after a 19-yard pickup.
Octavius Evans has been a guy that Boise State coaches have been waiting to see. They thought he could become eventually a #1 wide receiver. You see some of that ability. He's 210 pounds, got banged up early in the season last year, so never really reached his potential, but he's got a lot of talent. They have high hopes for him this season.
Here comes a double pass, although the ball is on the ground. That's a free ball, and so it's a loss on the play. It was a fumble. Butler was going to throw it. Instead, he ends up losing a couple yards on the play.
It was only a matter of time before a trick play came out. You see Bachmeier. Obviously, Butler getting a little excited, trying to throw it before he actually caught it, but a smart job picking it up and trying to gain back what he lost. Still an unfortunate lost yardage play, though, for a Boise State offense. It was moving it pretty good.
Looked like John Bates was going to be open to that. Maybe FSU was late in catching that. Here's 2nd and 13. Bachmeier with a long throw, and that one's dropped by Thomas. Forward pass incomplete. 3rd down and 13.
As a quarterback, it's 3rd and 13. Field goal has to be in your mind to a certain extent. So if you don't get it all back, you absolutely can't take a sack. And you have to be thinking, if you get it to within 32, 31-yard line, it might be 4-down territory as well. So be mindful of where you're looking with the football.
Here comes pressure. Bachmeier doesn't see it, and he's thrown down by Carlos Becker for a sack.
This pressure look has been coming almost all the time on 3rd down from Florida State. Just right around the edge, and Becker drops Bachmeier for a big loss. At some point, Boise State's going to have to figure out a way to neutralize those 3rd down pressures that they're seeing from Florida State. Florida State's playing man-to-man across the back end. They're challenging Boise State in one-on-one coverage, and they're trying to heat up the young quarterback, and they've had a lot of success to this point.
That possession, though, derailed on that 1st down. This is a horrible kick into the Boise State bench. So you have the 1st down play where the double pass, the backward pass, is dropped, and so it ends up being a negative play, and then you have another drop on 2nd down, a sack on 3rd down, a terrible punt that went 9 yards. Florida State's defense stepping up. Had a rough second half of last year, but much better in the opener in 2019. Well, after the early onslaught by Kendall Briles' offense, things have cooled off, but still overall a terrific performance by the Seminole offense, which last year was near the bottom of the national rankings in scoring, averaging 22 points per game. They have 31 midway through the 3rd quarter here today. Only scored over 30 for an entire game just a few times a year ago. Here's Blackman to throw at 1st down, and it's pulled in by Matthews in Bronco territory at the 46-yard line, a 14-yard pickup.
This has been a shot for Kendall Briles traditionally, where they want to try to take the top off the defense. Have positive momentum, bad kick by Boise. This is where you might want to go deep.
Blackman taking a shot here, as you called, but Gavin can't hang on. Throw his hands inside the 10 with Avery Williams trying to cover him.
And when they feel like they capture momentum with their defense or their special teams, they get very aggressive offensively. That time Gavin in one-on-one working against Williams. Pretty well thrown football. Just unable to bring it in. I like the shot play mentality with a little momentum that Florida State has on offense.
These two teams will meet next year in Boise. Blackman again off play action, has to throw it away. Will this go down as a grounding call? It appeared to be a receiver in the area, so I don't think they'll throw the flag on this one. Again, this game was originally scheduled for Jacksonville. The reason a lot of people are saying, well, why move it to Tallahassee? It's unfair to Boise State. The game initially was going to be in Tallahassee, but actually Florida State wanted it in Jacksonville. Here comes an end around. The pass to Terry, and Boise State is all over it. They were not fooled. They lose yardage.
So instead they moved it to the surface of the sun.
How bad is it down there, Lukes?
See, Dave, you and I have been here, what, 7 years together? Greg, we're going on 4. It's easily top 2 or 3. The only one I can remember that's close was Texas A&M 7 years ago when it was 112 on the field on a noon kick. But these two teams, when it's all said and done here, they're going to be getting some fluids and they're going to be exhausted.
I mean, they were going to play under the lights in Jacksonville. It's hot and humid there, but not as bad as it is here, obviously, with the sun out in midday. Tyler punting here, and it will not check up and go into the end zone for a touchback. Brett Rippon started 4 years. Ryan Finley started the season opener Rippon's first year. So Bachmeier is the first true freshman quarterback to start a season opener since Boise State joined FBS in 1996. Kellen Moore in 2008, who's now the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. He started as a redshirt freshman of the season opener. How do you think he's played so far?
He's done really well when given a chance. Now, the offensive line at times has been somewhat overwhelmed, and he hasn't seen all the blitzes that he's going to need to see over the course of his career. He's got to identify things just a hair quicker, but that all comes with time. I've been very impressed, though, with how he's bounced back after a poor play and the poise he's displayed throughout.
Mahone shifting into the backfield here. And on the end-around pitch, it's Thomas getting the first down. Levante Taylor with the stick. That's a good play, though, almost 15 yards. Thomas says he's okay.
Man, that was such a cool design. I mean, look, you're going to see movement. It looks like it's going to be zone read this direction, but they actually toss it to Thomas on the end around coming to the other side.
Only
great.
Boise.
That's great misdirection.
Right? That's awesome.
I mean, I feel like 95% of the teams in college football, the running back and the wide receiver would run into each other. But Boise's so well coached, the execution is flawless there.
They run Mahone, able to shake a tackle, get to the second level, and into Florida State territory. A 19-yard pickup. Mahone over 100 yards on the day. He'll hobble to the sideline, though.
They need him out there. He has definitely been their best back today. He's very decisive, north-south runner. He's displayed some good patience. He's the most experienced and has handled the leading role well today.
Polani, the true freshman, is in there now, but Bachmeier will throw. And the ball comes out. It's recovered by Florida State. Scooped up by Robert Cooper. Pressure from behind by Marvin Wilson, getting the strip sack on Bachmeier.
Ball definitely looks as though it's out. How about Marvin Wilson, the big fella, beating John Mulch in the left guard and getting to the quarterback. What a huge play, as it looked like Boise was starting to gather some momentum. One of the leaders defensively finds himself in a one-on-one situation and takes advantage of it.
They're reviewing to see if the hand started to go forward. Marvin Wilson, a junior from Houston, who was a basketball player growing up and ended up trying football. Worked out pretty well,
I'll say. He's a great player.
It's a two-gap body with one-gap explosiveness. He showed it right there.
Akers, big run inside the 35-yard line, down to the 32. 15-yard pickup for Akers. Florida State in business.
And you got to think, with this tempo, just keep trying to push it with the running game.
And here's Akers again. And he lost the ball, and it's recovered by Nawahine. So Florida State gives it right back to Boise State. Wow.
It looked as though Akers, as he was going to the ground, the ball's in his right hand.
It's
How
out.
about the job by Wimpy? Riley Wimpy getting his left hand on the football while engaged with Dante Lucas to jar it loose. What an unbelievable effort by Riley Wimpy.
And it's, you see Nawahine there noticing the ball is out, grabbing it. Wimpy, who's coming off an ACL injury in November against BYU. A big forced fumble after Boise State coughed it up themselves. Time for Bachmeier, lobbing it over the defender and caught by Bates. He got that over 6'5" Janarius Robinson right to the tight end Bates.
Beautiful throw. This is called layering the football. You throw it up and over one defender and underneath another. It's a beautiful throw to Bates on the post wheel combination.
24 yards. First down at the 46-yard line. Bachmeier in trouble here. Escapes the pocket. Throws back across the middle to Butler. And he's got the 31-yard line. 15 more yards.
I'll tell you what, Bachmeier's starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm. He's starting to move around a little bit, play a little more natural. Oh, man. That's late.
But no whistle. Here's Mahone, able to shake that first guy.
No whistle, but guys, I'll tell you, that head referee was given a mouthful to that Florida State sideline and that defender. I'm surprised, though, that he just didn't pull it.
I mean, the bottom line is it's late. If nothing else, it's a late hit. The question is it targeting? Is he attacking and launching there? But nothing else, that's 15 yards for a late hit.
Yeah, at the bare minimum.
Bachmeier, open receiver. Butler has to go up high to make the grab. And they're in the red zone again. It's been a struggle down here for most of this game.
When you're a young quarterback, you get down in the red zone, the field gets condensed. Things happen faster, so you have to see it quicker, be more accurate. He's struggled so far trying to change that right now here in the third quarter.
Looking for his first completion in the red zone. Instead, it's a run play. Mahone grabbed after a gain of about 3 by Lars Woodby. 3.5 to play in the third.
You know, Greg, the one thing that he hasn't done, though, is he hasn't been risky with the football. He's had really good, for the most part, situational awareness of how important this area of the field is. And so he's been smart with the football. And if that means incompletions, hey, at least you have a chance to get points in the field goal game.
No doubt. Smart with the football and be very smart in regards to the clock in your head. You can't take big losses against all-out pressure here.
Bachmeier looking for Helani out of the backfield. Incomplete. Amari Gaynor did a good job in coverage that time. A little shaken up on the play. 3rd down and 7 for Boise State, and Gaynor takes a seat. Just think how long that Florida State defense has been on the field today.
82 snaps already. And we're not even into the fourth quarter. In this type of heat, week 1, you're not really in game shape. It's really hard for your body to handle these type of elements at this point of the season.
Look at that, 30 minutes. You talked about the 82 plays. 30 minutes that defense has been on the field.
And keep an eye on number 6. C.T. Thomas in the slot. He's been a go-to guy in man coverage for him.
Bachmeier instead throws a fade the other way. It is caught. Did he stay in bounds and get the foot down? Shakir, it's like he was carried to the sideline, but they're going to say he got a foot down. It's a touchdown. Great throw, and how about Shakir hanging on while in midair he's being carried by a defender.
You're going to see his right foot go down in bounds. What a catch. When you get in that all-out pressure look that Florida State showed on the last couple downs, you have press coverage with one of your slot receivers against one of Florida State's safeties. It's advantage offense. It's a great throw and catch.
2 feet down.
On the slot fade to Khalil Shakir.
Maintained possession all the way to the ground. Shakir had just 1 touchdown a year ago through the air. Had a knee injury late last year. The extra point didn't look pretty, but it's good. And look at this. Now a flag is down, but look at the score. Despite the domination of Florida State in the first half offensively, the Broncos are only down 5 with a ton of time left in the game. How about this true freshman? Ran into the kicker, so declined the penalty, but
well, Hank Bachmeier, he's taking some hits, but he's hanging around, starting to play his best football here as Boise closes the gap.
Well, he's the highest rated recruit they've ever had at quarterback. And when talking with Brian Harsin, we visit with Boise, we said, you know, it's going to be originally in a neutral site in Jacksonville. Are you okay starting a true freshman? Does that factor in? And it goes, no, not at all. He said he can handle it. That's the way we go. They hadn't decided at that point between him and Chase Cord. They were fine with Bachmeier starting in this kind of an environment.
Yeah, he's handled it incredibly well for a young kid. And freshman quarterbacks now, they can come in and they can take the college football world by storm. Now, he's taken some lumps. I mean, it's not been a flawless performance. My goodness, he's hung around. It's really, really impressive to watch and battle back from adversity and really make some plays over the last few minutes.
Velasquez kicks it in the field of play, but doesn't matter. They're going to fair catch it. It will come out to the 25. Florida State's lead down to 5.
Does that say Hank for Heisman? I mean, hey, why not? You might as well start it early. Tell you what, though, this kid, if this is just the beginning, he's going to be a player. I mean, really a player over the next few years. I mean, he's gotten more and more comfortable as the game's gone on. He's not seeing ghosts. He's been accurate. He's taken hits and gotten right back up. And that's the type of guy you want to play for, that's for sure.
Meanwhile, Florida State has to figure out what's going on with the offense. Last 5 possession, 4 punts and a fumble, which just led to a Boise touchdown. They're going to take a shot on first down. Blackman throws it deep, and it's nearly picked off. It was intended for Terry. Avery Williams was down there for Boise State.
That's an offense.
Tyreek Jones was there as well and almost got the interception. If Jones actually is looking for the ball, he probably picks it off, right?
Yeah, they were just trying to beat him to the spot. Avery Williams did a good job of walling Terry and turning back and looking for the football. Excellent fundamentals from the defensive back.
Blackman, pump fake, another deep ball. Overthrows the receiver, and again an opportunity for Jones to pick it off, but it was way over everybody's head. And now, after 2 deep throws, it's 3rd and 10.
Fellas, I'm over here on the Boise sideline, and I'm hearing players tell other players, they're cramping, we're not cramping. You're going down on us. We're here to stay.
Well, you guys are both making a point during the break about just what you love about Boise. They just never go away. They're never out of it, and they sack Blackman. It's Hatada getting the sack at the 15-yard line.
How about Hatada working inside and forcing pressure right up the middle? I mean, he goes right around Johnson, the center. As he changes gaps, Johnson can't recover in time, and Hatada drops Blackman for a huge sack.
So now Tyler to punt. They should get good field position here. It's a good punt by Tyler. And the fair catch made on the 40-yard line by Avery Williams.
Well, Hank Bachmeier has certainly proven just how tough he is. He's gotten hit time and time again, and he keeps bouncing back. And here he was on the slot fade to Shakir to bring the Broncos within 5 points, and he gets it again now at his own 40-yard line in solid field position with a lot of momentum on the Boise side.
Look at the last drive. He's thrown for over 100 yards in the quarter. Keep in mind, 21 straight winning seasons, longest active streak in the FBS for Boise State. 3 Fiesta Bowl wins. They'll play anybody anywhere, even when the game has changed 48 hours before kickoff. They run here, and Holani breaking free. Close to the line to gain at the 50-yard line, as they're leaning on the true freshman the last couple drives, although an injury for Boise State right now. George Holani, true freshman running back. Bachmeier, the true freshman quarterback. A terrific backfield here in the second half. Can't see a number just yet on the injured offensive lineman.
I think it's John Ojukwu, the right tackle, who kind of gets rolled up on towards the end of the run. You're going to see him right there. And you see Holani kind of fall into him.
Oh, yeah, I saw the right foot there.
The defender, Janaris Robinson, kind of falls into him. That's a big loss. Ojukwu started the last 7 games of the year last year. The offensive line, to that point, really struggled. Very up and down. Ojukwu goes in, starts the final 7. The running game production went up. The protection was significantly better. You got to hope the redshirt sophomore is okay, because he's a very important piece of that Boise State offensive line.
Now, while we have a moment, as they're trying to get Ojukwu to his feet, let's remind you about what we got for you on ABC and the ESPN app. Next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, Clemson hosting number 12 Texas A&M, and then LSU at Texas, 7:30 Saturday Night Football on ABC. It was a great game between Clemson and A&M last year in week 2. Came down to the end. Clemson won 28-26. Should be another good game. Kellen Mond looked really good. The returning starting quarterback for A&M last night. First down for Boise State at midfield. So they got John Molchon moving over to right tackle here because of the injury. A catch is made by Shakir, and he's at the 46-yard line. Jake Stetz is in the game at left guard with Molchon moving over.
Yeah, Molchon's played everywhere, so he's very comfortable sliding out to tackle. The goal for Boise State is to get their best 5 on the field, and if Ojukwu is not available, Stetz is their 6th best offensive lineman. Get him in, put Molchon in for the injured player.
2nd and 6. Holani moves the pile. Looks like he's got a first down at the 40-yard line. And we saw Mahone shaken up a little bit earlier. I wonder if that's why Holani's getting all the reps here on this drive. Great third quarter. Minute to go for Boise State. Got to take the lead for the first time. They run on first down. Holani upended by Taylor after a gain of 2.
No, one thing Florida State is struggling with, and I think it's because they're tired right now, and you're seeing some rotation come in from the sideline, is they are not disengaging from blocks in the run game. In fact, this offensive front in the zone game is just pushing Florida State around. That's why you've seen such good cutback lanes for these Boise State backs, and they've had the vision to exploit it.
Yeah, the time of possession and the play count that Florida State's defense has played is certainly starting to show its impact on the Seminole players.
88th play for Boise State. A dump off pass, it's not going to go anywhere. John Bates brought down by Lars Woodby. So 3rd down and long coming up when we start the 4th quarter from Tallahassee. Can the true freshman pull it off in what has become a true road game for the Broncos? They've taken down many Giants before. Can they get the Noles? They trail by 5 with a quarter to go.
ESPN, celebrating 150 years of college football.
Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville in Tallahassee. Florida State, one loss in the last 15 years when leading by 18 points or more. And that happened against Miami last year. They were up 24-6 in this game, 31-13. Right now it's 31-26. Boise faced with a 3rd and 7. Inside the 40 of Florida State. Pressure coming on Bachmeier. But he has a completion. And Shakir has a first down to the 30-yard line.
It's a great job by Bachmeier, recognizing the pressure, knowing that there was a free runner defensively for Florida State right here. And he just gets it out before that free runner arrives. That's called throwing hot. A good job, too, by Shakir, his wide receiver, getting his eyes to the backfield, knowing there was disappearance, and making himself available for the quarterback's quick delivery.
A give to Mahone around the right side. They sealed off, and Mahone somehow sneaks out of there. Where did he step out? They're going to say that he actually was able to tiptoe the sideline and didn't go out of bounds until he hit the 16-yard line.
Well, the head linesman, guys, is giving him, I was standing right on this sideline, he's given him about 3 extra yards from where he stepped out of bounds, but he couldn't see it because he was behind the defensive pursuit of Florida State. So Boise might be the beneficiary here of a couple extras.
Looked like it was really close. But like you said, because of bodies, it's tough to tell exactly where that foot stepped on the line.
So here we are, guys, in the red zone again for Boise State. Bachmeier gets leveled, and the ball squirts out incomplete. Marvin Wilson making his presence felt again in the face of the QB.
That time, similar pressure from Florida State off the right side. Boise State didn't have enough blockers to handle what the Seminoles were bringing defensively, and Bachmeier opted that time to not throw the hot route, who was actually open over the middle of the field.
He's 1 for 11 throwing in the red zone. On 2nd and 10, Bachmeier, and out of the backfield, it's Holani. He fumbles the ball, and Jackson tried to pick it up, and I think Boise State got it back. Dontavius Jackson, rather than falling on it, tried to scoop it up, and Boise State got it back inside the 5-yard line.
And Collingham was able to get it. That's exactly who it was. Number 5,
first down.
Garrett Collingham, the backup tight end. Holani trying to do an awful lot. Forces the fumble, and Florida State, they thought they had more time.
Nasruddin with the hit, and then watch, there's a defender who comes sliding in. It was Levante Taylor, and there maybe was confusion between him and Jackson, and Jackson
was trying to grab it. Taylor was trying to grab it.
But look how they tried to grab it, guys, and then look at how Boise State's offensive player went down to it, taking it through the side and cradling it so that the ball doesn't skip out.
Wow.
Those coaches at Florida State are going to be nuts over that when they watch that on tape.
Man, that's just so unfortunate. If you're the Seminoles, you make a great play defensively, you dislodge the football, you have 2 guys around it, and you're unable to come up with it. Great hustle from Boise State, but they are very fortunate to have 1st and goal here inside the 5.
And a chance to take the lead for the first time. Mahone in the backfield with Bachmeier. It's Mahone straight ahead, powering to the goal line, gets a push, and they're going to rule him just short. It'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 1.
Really good surge. Good job being patient down here by Mahone. Really, really good surge, and a good job defensively, too, by Florida State, understanding where they were on the field and holding up Mahone with all their might.
Yeah, Dennis Briggs showing his strength.
Unreal.
They are going to stop this and look at it to see if he got in.
Now, if I'm Boise State right here, though, I'm mad that they're stopping it. I got momentum. It's inside the 1 yard line. It's second down. I got 3 downs to score. So, yeah, you might be rewarded with a touchdown, sure, but I'd rather them just continue to play because this kills my momentum, and Florida State's defense now gets a little bit of a rest.
And right before that, Greg, you had Robert Cooper, you had Wilson on one knee in front of the football. I mean, that's a lot of weight that Boise State's pushing around.
These are the things about the review that drives me crazy.
On the field stands, second down.
Again, you take 45 seconds to allow the defense to recover, and as an offensive guy, you lose all momentum that you were able to create. So this is where we need to adjust the review process to only imperative situations inside of 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever they decide, but
just go to the same model that the NFL has.
Absolutely.
Make the game a lot shorter. Second and goal. They're going to keep Mahone in here. Mahone, and he gets an easily touchdown. Boise State. The Broncos have the lead. 19 straight points after a 10-play, 59-yard drive. You hear the Boise State cheers. They all flew into Jacksonville expecting the game there tonight. But they said, that's all right, we'll get in car, we'll rent cars, buses, whatever it takes to drive 2.5 hours west to Tallahassee. We'll find some hotel rooms. And they're right behind the Boise State bench cheering on their true freshman quarterback who's making a name for himself today. "20 unanswered points since the 4-minute mark of the second quarter for Boise State. Keep in mind, Florida State had a chance. Boise fumbled the ball at the 5-yard line. 2 Seminoles had a chance to get it. Neither could. The Broncos got it back, eventually scored, and had the lead for the first time. They're just automatically signaling for the fair catch. They're happy to take the ball on the 25. It's not like we haven't seen this before against a Power 5 team for Boise State. Of course, Statue of Liberty, everybody remembers that, against Oklahoma to win the Fiesta Bowl. Then they went to Eugene and knocked off Oregon in 2008. 2010, they were ranked number 3, so it really wasn't an upset, but still Virginia Tech was very good. And then taking care of Arizona New Year's Eve 2014 in the Fiesta Bowl, knocking off a top 10 team. Now, Florida State isn't ranked in 5-7 a year ago, but still, this is impressive at a true road game in this kind of heat, trailing by 18 points. But why should we be surprised? They go back to Cam Akers, who fumbled earlier, and Wimpy drags him down after minimal gain on first down.
Greg, that's the tackle that Boise State did not make in the first quarter.
Yeah, they are flying to the football. Yep. They're feeding off the momentum that's been created by a couple turnovers and fortuitous plays. Boise's defense is really flying around.
They put DJ Matthews in the backfield, and they swing it out to him on the perimeter, and Boise's all over it. Oh, he gets leveled. How about that forearm from Canijo? Big lick and a negative play. It's 3rd and long.
I'll tell you what, man, this Boise defense, they have a beat on what Florida State's doing offensively. We're not seeing those slants, those hitches, those nice throws, those easy completions anymore from Florida State.
They got 1 3rd-down conversion all day. Terry with the catch, but they got him at the ankles, and they're going to stop the play. Forward progress to the 33, but it's short of the line to gain. Avery Williams held him up for his teammates. It is 4th down and 2. Plenty of time left, so Florida State just going to punt it away. But it's a 3-and-out.
It's a great job by Boise defense. Excellent. Tackle in open space by Wimpy. And they try to get an easy completion, get the passing game going a touch. They pursue, and they keep the ball in front of them on a hitch route on 3rd and 10 that only gains 8. Excellent work by this Bronco defense.
Good punt by Tyler. And the fair catch made on the 24-yard line. 42-yard boot. No return. Boise ball with the lead when we come back. Boise State with a 2-point lead early in the fourth quarter. The quarterback competition came down to the end of training camp. True freshman Hank Bachmeier won the job, and he has had a phenomenal second half.
Yeah, he has really gotten comfortable within this offense. I tell you what, the first half, it was tough at times. I mean, he took some shots, and he hung in there. He showed his toughness, and he showed how he's able to bounce back from adversity. He's gotten a little bit better and a little bit better. Now he's really seeing the field. He's playing more instinctively and is throwing the ball with great accuracy. Like there on the touchdown to Khalil Shakir on the slot fade. He's really looked comfortable these last few drives.
See what the philosophy is here for Boise. They're going to run the ball. A huge lane off the left side for Holani. It's a gain of 9. Bachmeier, quarterback, true freshman from Marietta, California. His mom, April, is here. His dad, Mike, has been in every game since Hank was 6 years old. But Mike had brain surgery a couple weeks ago, we're told, because of a tumor. He is not here. And so April carrying the torch for the Bachmeier family. Hank also has brothers Bear, Tiger, and Buck. He was a great quarterback in high school in the ESPN 300 for recruiting, and the highest rated recruit at quarterback in the history of Boise State since they went FBS back in the mid-90s. Got an injured Seminole on the play. It is Jackson.
We hope he's okay. He's a big part of that Seminole defense. Tell you what, Bachmeier's been really impressive, man. I mean, Lugs, I've been really impressed with how he's bounced back. Young guy, right. You start seeing ghosts, a lot of pressure. Florida State did a nice job defensively, making him uncomfortable early, but he's settled in here in the second half and is really starting to play good football.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think he understands the moment. He realizes, hey, I don't have to make all the plays. I've got to run the offense and don't make mistakes.
It helps when you get 9 yards on first down, gives you a lot of options on second and short. And they'll be conservative here, and Holani has the first down and more. He's past the 45-yard line into Florida State territory before he's knocked out of bounds. I mean, how about Boise State winning at the point of attack here in crunch time?
And that was the 96th snap that this Florida State defense has faced. And at some point, I mean, you're going to get worn out. When you get fatigued, you're tackling fundamentals.
And look at Boise.
Start to go sideways a little bit. Boise looks great.
Yeah, they're already on the line.
Absolutely. You can see, I mean, they're really starting to lean. That big offensive line for Boise starting to lean on this Florida State defense.
225 rushing yards. Here's a wide receiver screen to Shakir. He gets to the perimeter on the 30 and runs out of bounds around the 25-yard line. It's an 18-yard pickup. It almost feels like as the game has gone on, Boise State has gotten stronger, yet they're not used to playing in this kind of humidity.
I don't think they care. I don't think they're even thinking about it.
They really have. I mean, they did everything they could to try to simulate the humidity and the heat, and they haven't had any cramps, whereas Florida State's had several. It's been impressive to watch so far, their conditioning.
Flags fly as Mahone is taken down at the 30. They turned up the heat in their practice facility and sprayed water to try to get the humidity up. It was 106 degrees in their indoor facility just to try to get ready for this.
Offense, number 67. That's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Garrett Larson, the center. Haven't seen many offensive penalties by Boise State.
There have been very few. Right there, big Marvin Wilson crossed face, and Garrett Larson held on for dear life.
Brendan Gant, the injured Seminole.
That's another cramped player for Florida State, guys. We've seen several down. We haven't seen one from Boise State down on the turf.
But as you guys have mentioned several times, I mean, the defense has been out there for 36 minutes, 97 plays.
Especially week one. I mean,
right.
You're not in game shape yet. I mean, you can simulate as best you can, but it's not real life. Until you get out here, it's really hard to play 100-plus snaps week one.
On 1st and 20, a shovel pass, running room for Mahone to the 20. Stiff arms at the 10. And finally down at the 6-yard line, man. He just got rid of one guy, and Samuels eventually on the tackle. It'll be a 29-yard pickup.
Man, that's a great job and a great play call. Florida State smells blood in the water. 1st and 20. We're going to come after the quarterback. We're going to make him feel it. So you just throw a little screen, a little shovel screen. Next thing you know, you have a running back out in space. Really, really nice play call by Zach Hill. Excellent execution from Boise State.
You have Raymond Woody, a DB who got stiff arm that time. That's the first time we've seen him on defense. They're trying to get anybody in the game right now to give the starters a breather. Polani swallowed at the 5-yard line, so a short game, but the clock is moving. 2nd and goal.
No, it's interesting, too, and just watching it from field level, especially when they get in the red zone, Greg. Boise State looks like Wisconsin in the run game.
Yeah.
I mean, they are literally blowing down and blocking down and moving. That's a lot of beef. You look at 21 Marvin Wilson. Look at 91 Cooper. You look at Durden, 16. Those are big bodies in there that Boise is moving the pile with.
Boise has leverage with how they're getting underneath their pads to this point, though.
Play number 100 for Boise State today. Van Buren, the running back. Bachmeier rolling out, throws it to Van Buren, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. The Broncos extend their lead. Impressive, quick drive. 71 yards in less than 3 minutes. From down 18 to up maybe 9, pending the extra point.
Tell you what, Zach Hill, the offensive coordinator, is calling one heck of a second half.
See what the penalty's about.
Pass interference, offense number 47. Number 47 was downfield blocking. The ball was caught beyond the line. It's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
Boy, it was hard to see the flag. I mean, I don't even think that Florida State saw the flag either. But you had an offensive lineman way downfield blocking. Pistone.
Yeah, and they called 47. He's at the end of the line of scrimmage right here. That's where he is at this point. So he wasn't downfield. I'm not sure who they are calling, though. Are they calling number 7, Killian Butler, who was on the outside, and running off?
Boy, he called 47 on the call. Now he's trying to explain it to Brian Harsin.
And 47 was just protecting the edge, so they clearly either got the number wrong, but even as I looked at Killian Butler, it didn't look as though...
I don't know how that's on Pistone for pass interference.
This is called 321 loop pass. You're essentially trying to fake a long stretch play, and you're trying to get your running back to the outside.
There was nothing nefarious about that at all.
He's just sealing the edge. I mean, he wasn't downfield. He wasn't doing anything outside of just sealing the edge and trying to capture the edge.
On 2nd and goal now from the 20, Bachmeier finds Evans over the middle, and he's down at the 12-yard line.
Yeah, I think what they did is they messed up. They said 47, and they meant 7, Killian Butler, like we said originally. He was. It does look as though he was not turning around trying to make himself available as a wide receiver. So that's a correct call. But 47, just left shaking my head there for a second because he did not do anything illegal.
3rd down and goal from the 13-yard line. 2-point Boise State lead at the midway point of quarter number 4. And we got a stoppage of play here. Boise State calls a timeout. 2 remaining for Brian Harsin.
Jägermeister's 56 herbs and spices bring out the best in your beer. Kick up your beer with a deer.
A lot of Week 1 college football remaining. We will wrap it up Monday night on ESPN with Notre Dame at Louisville. The Irish ranked 9th preseason. Scott Satterfield making his debut as Louisville head coach. Meanwhile, Dave Patrick, McElroy, and Tom Luginbill here in Tallahassee. Boise State has not been great in the red zone. They had a touchdown, but a penalty flag for offensive pass interference negates it, so they have a 3rd and goal on the 13. And Bachmeier to throw, gets hit, lobs it, end zone. Knocked away at the last second by Samuels. Hightower, the intended receiver, 4th down.
Florida State sticking with what got them to this point. Just going man coverage across the board. Samuels got to do a better job of turning around. Lucky he didn't get called there for a potential pass interference, but a good pass breakup and a good defensive play for the Seminoles.
Division III transfer, former walk-on Eric Sachs, 4 for 4 in his first Division I football game. FBS, 30-yard attempt here to extend the lead, and it's perfect. 5 of 5 for Eric Sachs. Boise State 36, Florida State 31.
Well, how about the true freshman making his first career start here in a tough spot to play, Tallahassee, Florida. Bachmeier doing a good job climbing in the pocket. He's done a good job, too, using his legs and keeping his eyes downfield, allowing his wide receivers to uncover. He's also seen some of that rush, understanding when his protection's going to be short. He's got to lose the football. He dumps it off over the middle for a nice completion. He has looked so much more comfortable in the second half of this football game. He's seeing the rush. He's seeing his receiver. He's throwing it timely. He's really playing instinctively, much more so than we saw in the first 30 minutes.
All right, guys, you got an injured Florida State player. We're going to try to get you the number. It looks like Janaris Robinson, number 11. What has to change now for Florida State offensively? James Blackman had the hot hand in the first half, cooled off significantly in the second.
They haven't really done some of the things in the second half that allowed them to be successful in the first. We haven't seen any slants. We haven't seen any quick play action, throw a hitch to the outside. Easy pitch and catch completions. It's been pretty much all or nothing. They've thrown a couple throws that went laterally, but Boise State has seen those coming, and they've teed off on some of those behind the line of scrimmage throws. So I think they need to get back to the intermediate passing game, Tom, to get some rhythm back into this offense.
Well, and I think that Boise State deserves some credit because they've been able to play the run on early downs. And there hasn't been success on the ground for Florida State in the second half like there was in the first half. So now all of a sudden, I don't want to say they've pressed the panic button, but their answer seems to be immediately go downfield. But that's a low percentage play, and they haven't completed any of them.
Kendall Briles, the new play caller here at Florida State. 5th year as an offensive coordinator, first with the Seminoles. They went out and hired a new offensive line coach, new receiver coach. Offense has only had the ball for 17 minutes in this game, and most of the points for Florida State came early. They're down 5 now. Blackman in the second half, 7 of 13 passing, 35 yards. And for the game, Blackman has thrown for 312 and 3 touchdowns. He had as many incompletions as touchdowns in the first half, 3. Another touchback. FSU starts on the 25. And meanwhile, a little extracurricular activity. There's a Boise State player had his helmet knocked off, but no flags are thrown. Skinner lost his lid. Take a look at what Florida State did early. First 6 drives, they were tearing up that Boise State defense, but about a yard per play averaged over the last 7 drives.
And they really need to get something going. More so than getting points here, they need to sustain a drive because their defense on the other side is completely out of gas. They've faced over 100 snaps against the Boise State offense. So they need to change the field position, and create some momentum of their own, more so than they need points here on this drive alone.
They'll start with a run play, and Akers tackled from behind. After a short gain, it's Curtis Weaver able to get off a block, pickup of a yard.
Still, you see these wide splits by these wide receivers. That makes you think run or quick pass.
Blackman pass behind the intended receiver Terry, incomplete, with Jones in coverage, and it's 3rd and long.
A miscommunication right there between Terry and Blackman. I think because the defender was on top, Blackman thought Terry was going to stop that route, run a little curl. Instead, he kept going on a vertical route. Critical 3rd down right here after 2 unsuccessful 1st and 2nd down plays.
And Greg, they're 1 for 10 on 3rd down today. Florida State trying to get the right personnel on the field here. Plenty of time on the play clock.
And that was by design. Kendall Briles had those guys waiting next to him, wanted to see what Boise was going to line up in.
It looks like a pressure package from Boise.
Blackman gets hit, sacked inside the 20-yard line. There's Curtis Weaver, preseason Defensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West.
Great players make great plays and big opportunities. They're going to bring pressure off the left-hand side, and Weaver finds himself in a situation where he's rushing against a tight end in pass protection. That's a great set defensively for Boise State. You have your best defensive player, your pass rusher, going against their worst protector in McKitty. Great rush from Weaver to get the job done.
Williams is deep. They need a good punt from Tyler, and they get it here, angled to the far side. It will go to bounds around the 35-yard line. 6:12 to go.
Robert Mahone has done a great job on the stat sheet, but his presence has been felt in other ways as well. How about him in the pass protection? I mean, stepping up, seeing blitzers, meeting them in the hole. I mean, he has done a great job of attacking those defenders and meeting them where they are to allow his quarterback to escape and create a little bit on his own. Look, Mahone, we all know the stats. The stats are great. That tells half the story. It's been really impressive to see him really take ownership of this running back position today. Came in expecting a committee approach, and he said, no, this is going to be my show. Holani, you can get some carries. Van Buren, you can have some too, but
only when I'm tired.
Exactly. I want to be the go-to guy at the running back spot for the Broncos.
Boy, it looked like everybody got started early there. That's a false start. Well, whether it's been Doug Martin or Jay Ajayi or Alexander Madison, they've always had a guy.
False start. Offense number 77. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
John Molchon, who's in at right tackle now. And Mahone had 32 carries all of last year. And he's got 24 here today.
Just look at the efficiency offensively. I mean, 5 yards a snap in the first half. The second half, 8+.
Holani gets tattooed in the backfield for a loss. Renardo Green, true freshman defensive back, not afraid that time. Lowered the boom.
And they need something defensively to feel great about. That was a great hit in the hole. Sometimes a big hit can give you momentum as a group. See if Florida State can capitalize.
Well, plus you had the false start there, so I mean you've gone backwards here, 7 yards. They come right at Bachmeier. It's a shovel pass that is read beautifully. Marvin Wilson engulfs Andrew Van Buren at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, how about the big fella right here on the edge, keeping his eyes in the backfield and saying, no, you got us once on that shovel pass. I'm not falling for it again. Retraces and drops him for a loss. Great read by the most disruptive defensive lineman the Seminoles have, Marvin Wilson.
The true freshman quarterback facing a 3rd and 17. Bachmeier looking deep. And, oh, what a pass! Pulled in by Shakir. Bachmeier hung in there forever and made the play.
Man, Bachmeier, great job against a 3-man rush. being patient and allowing his guys to uncover. Florida State goes with the drop 8. They just have zones all over the place. And Boise goes with a little bit of a scissors combination, a post by the outside guy and a corner by the inside, which floods a zone. And they pick up a huge conversion on 3rd and long.
Olani got hit hard, broke that tackle. Attempt by Durden, but still lost yardage. So a lot of negative plays here, but that clock is moving. 4 minutes and counting. Florida State has all of its timeouts remaining. They picked up 3rd and 17 just a moment ago. It is 2nd and 13.
Man, what a throw by Hank Bachmeier. I mean, just clutch.
Yeah, man.
And like all the great Boise and quarterbacks that we've seen in this system before, what's one thing that they've always been? Clutch and accurate. I'll tell you what, man, Hank Bachmeier, he's checked those 2 boxes today.
And run Van Buren wrapped up after he got back to the original line of scrimmage, so it's 3rd down and 10. That Florida State defense has been out there for 106 plays. And 41 minutes. Can they come up with one play defensively here to get the ball back for the offense?
Boise taking their own sweet time, guys. They are in control. They understand that field position, regardless of what happens in a conversion here, is going to be paramount to their opportunity to win this game.
Yeah, and if I'm Florida State, I'm bringing the heat. I mean, they've played well in man coverage for a majority of the game. I'm playing man coverage across the board. I'm heating them up.
Here they come. Bachmeier hit, lost the ball. Fumble at the 44-yard line. Becker stripped it. If Boise State recovers, they're going to be punting. If Florida State has it, they're going to be in good position with the ball in Boise territory. So it is 4th down. It's recovered by Molchon of Boise State.
I mean, just full pressure from Florida State. And you see Becker, as Van Buren is late getting across the formation to try to hit the blitzer. Becker's able to strip the football, but that's the aggressiveness that we saw from Florida State in the first half, and they had a lot of success bringing pressure, so they got away from it a touch throughout the course of the early part of the second half. They go back to it in a gotta-have-it situation, and they force a big sack of Hank Bachmeier.
Florida State uses a timeout. They have 2 remaining. 2:42 to go with the punt coming up here. Now, a lot of pressure on Willie Taggart coming into the year. First losing season since 1976. The longest consecutive bowl appearance streak ever. Ended at 36 last year.
If I'm Florida State too, since my offense hasn't done much, I might think about coming after this punt. Go with an aggressive punt block situation.
DJ Matthews is deep. Really good punt. He's going to field it at the 3-yard line. And he shakes a tackle at the 5. Can he get outside? He's at the 15. And finally pushed out of bounds around the 25-yard line. A 22-yard return after a 50-yard punt. John Bates did a pretty good job to not let Matthews get outside. Can James Blackman win the game for FSU? They're down 5.
Jägermeister's 56 herbs and spices bring out the best in your beer. Kick up your beer with a deer.
The second half has been nothing like the first half for James Blackman and the entire Florida State offense. The Noles had an 18-point lead on 2 occasions, but now they trail by 5 with 2:25 to go. They have 2 timeouts remaining, and they have to go 75 yards. Blackman surveying, and the pass is caught. Momentum will carry Gavin past the line to gain for a first down.
That's an important play right there just to get the drive started. Plenty of time. Don't have to be heavy through the air. Can do whatever you want to do offensively.
And they will run it here straight ahead. Akers picks up 2 or 3. Boise State doing a much better job in run defense as opposed to the first half.
Mixing coverage too. Taking away the pre-snap reads. We've seen James Blackman have to survey the field a few more times here in the second half. That number 1 in the progression hasn't been open as often.
Blackman back to the air, and Gavin on the catch. He was hit immediately by Canijo, and so short gain. Obviously 4 down territory. It's going to be 3rd and about 5. Clock at 1:36 and counting. Akers, he gets stood up by Wimpy. A gain of 1. Now it's 4th and 4. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Let's see if they use one here to talk about what to dial up on 4th down. They're not going to, but taking some time off the clock here. Maybe it. Boise State coming after him. Blackman hit. His pass caught though by McKinney for a first down. Clock will stop the move to change to the 48-yard line. There is a penalty marker down in the backfield, though. It might be coming back.
Held Curtis Weaver, guys.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 4th down.
Wow. Jawan Williams called for holding.
Coming off this side, you're going to see Weaver get grabbed by Jawan Williams as he tries to go low and run the hoop. See that left arm of Williams absolutely engage with Weaver. What a huge penalty after the 3rd down conversion.
Now it's 4th and 14 with a clock running. See if they come after him again. They do. A flag down. Blackman takes off across the 40, and he does not get the first down. Let's see what the penalty is. If it's on Florida State, it'll be declined. Boise State will take over on downs with 48 seconds to go. But it wasn't a dead ball foul. But the offense is coming to the sideline for Florida State.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5 men in the backfield. That penalty's declined. The result of the play was that the runner was short of the line to gain. Ball goes over on downs.
Wow.
First down.
Boise State 48 seconds away from a major comeback win in a true road game.
Better be careful they don't get a penalty.
Hey guys, we know what this says about Boise State. It's really what it always says about Boise State is they can beat anybody, anytime, anywhere. But what does this say about Florida State? We are praising the first half, the changes they made, but the second half looked a lot like last year in many respects.
Just a tale of 2 halves, and they looked completely out of rhythm offensively. Their defense couldn't get off the field. They couldn't stop the run. They had a couple costly errors when it comes to recovering potential mistakes from Boise. They're an improved group, but man, the second half is just gut-wrenching considering how well you played in the first 30 minutes.
Bachmeier takes a knee. Little contact from Asante Samuel after. Florida State will use a timeout, but they'll take one more knee. I'm sure the Noles will use a timeout, but then if they just snap it and take a knee on 3rd down, Florida State can't stop the clock and the game will be over. Well, tonight, after Fresno State and USC catch SportsCenter with SVP, season debut of Tua and the Tide. They play at 3:30 Eastern. That game's actually already underway over on ABC. It's been a 4-hour game here in Tallahassee. Coco Gauff, Naomi Osaka highlights and reaction as well from that match at the U.S. Open. SVP after college football on ESPN and the ESPN app. And for Willie Taggart, trying to earn the trust of not just the players but the fan base. They will not be pleased with the result, but if you're a Boise State fan, you think the world right now of your true freshman quarterback Brian Harsin rolling the dice, even though Chase Core didn't have a lot of reps, but going with a true freshman on the road. And it's been a terrific day for him, especially in the second half.
Amazing. I mean, amazing, Tom, to see a kid take that many hits early on and to see that many different looks and to have that much adversity for him to hang in there and then look like a completely different player after halftime. Tom, in your first start, this is so exciting for Hank Bachmeier and what he will eventually become there under Brian Harsin.
There's no doubt. And listen, we talked coming on the air today about when you name a freshman your quarterback, your starting quarterback, you have to trust him. They have to prove that, hey, I'm not going to turn a bad play into a catastrophic one. I'm going to run the offense. I'm going to play with him myself. I'm going to study. But it's the intangible factors that he showed today. You don't know what a guy is going to do when he gets hit in the mouth until it happens to him. And that's what's been so impressive and stood out about Hank Bachmeier today.
So poised, so comfortable in the pocket. I'll tell you what, and he saw Florida State defensively. He saw a nice effort from them for the first half, but he had all the answers in the second 30 minutes.
Bachmeier takes a knee. Florida State can't stop the clock. Bachmeier throws for 215 yards and a touchdown in the second half alone. And the Broncos, with the game being moved from a neutral site, Jacksonville, to Tallahassee, from nighttime to the middle of the day where the heat index is over 100. Hank Bachmeier's mom, April, looking on. His dad, Mike, who underwent surgery for a brain tumor a couple weeks ago, unable to be here, missing his son's game for the first time in 14 years, but watching back in California. Their son and the Broncos victorious. And let's go to Tom.
Coach, you told me coming out of the locker room 3 things: tackling, red zone production, all right, and turnovers. How do you explain the difference between the first and second half?
Well, I didn't tell you heart. That was one of them that we just showed right there. These guys finished. That's what we talked about. Yeah, all those things we had to get done, but they came out here and played and finished the game, which is what we've been talking about all this entire year leading up to this one. And to be here at Florida State, they did a tremendous job getting this game set up, but to play like we did and finish this game, we're excited for how we did, how well we played.
A lot of positives on offense. Of course, there'll be things to correct, but how would you assess the performance of your true freshman quarterback on the road today?
You know what? He won. That's how you assess it. He won. And we can break it all down. It's not perfect, but you and I both know you go out there, you compete to win, and that's what he did. So in my book, that's what he came out to do, and he got it done.
Coach, congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Thank you. Go Broncos.
Now, Brian Harsin, an outstanding coach, and given that they had to make the sudden change here, figure out the hotel situation, practice canceled yesterday because of lightning. You're already bringing your fan base thousands of miles to play a game, but they had to make some adjustments after getting down 18 points in the first half on 2 occasions. But they come back with 23 unanswered points to beat Florida State 36-31. ESPN Goal Line is coming up next. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville, our outstanding crew, which did a good job with Quick Change, I'm Dave Pasch. Saying so long from Tallahassee, where Boise State wins at FSU by 5.